Penguin finale.
So, before we talk about the actual show, how many awards do they win? We now have like a shining example of comic book fatigue isn't real when something like the Penguin can exist.
This is what we've said. There is no comic book fatigue. There is just bad execution, and people are sick of bad execution. And I mean the vibe of the Thunderbolts trailer, Thunderbolts asterisks, because that's important. I mean the vibe of that film looks so much fun.
This is from the reason I thought Horror Wagon.
That's why I recognise it.
Yeah.
I definitely with that went through the ringer for like a week.
Yeah, you were in your depths for a minute there.
For the people that are playing it, no, there's a Lapras event on, and it took me 14 promo packs before I got my first Lapras. Meanwhile, Josh had had 4.
Hello and welcome back to Cutscene Convos. It is episode 138, and boy, do we have a lot to discuss this week. We've got a character profile on Speed. We've got the finale of The Penguin. We've got D23 in Brazil to recap. Josh is back with more nerdy stuff and more gaming quizzy stuff. And as always, we've got the Nerd News Network. But for all that good stuff, Horizontal, how's your week been?
My week's been so. As you know, I ended up being ill. It was like, I think after recording the podcast last week, I was like, bit of a sore throat starting. I thought, it's just because we talked for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Woke up Friday, I was like, definitely got a cold or something. Like my dad had a really bad cold, so I mean, cold could have been COVID. Who knows anymore? Yeah. Cold, flu, COVID, one of them. But yeah,
especially when the COVID vaccines are so much more to just like mitigate how bad it affects you. It's very possible that when you've had all your jabs and stuff, you just kind of power through it.
So yeah, pretty rough cold over the weekend, and then probably the last couple of days it's started to wear off now. Obviously, I sound a bit nasally. I will try not to cough into the mic, but other than that, been grinding Brighter Shores, which came out last week. I think I mentioned it briefly on.
Yeah.
But yeah, still playing that, still grinding it. It's them having, and I discussed it. We'll chat about it at the gaming segment with Josh, but a lot of like RuneScape, a lot of stuff is tied to the skills and levels, and having the quests need you to be certain skill levels to do like a part of the quest has actually it's an enjoyable thing. It feels like a grind at the moment because at the moment each zone has 3 the main story quest in that zone and then 2 side quests, which obviously one's like slightly difficult, the other one's like a ramp up and you have to grind to get to the end of it because there's no like step ups in between. They're just chucked in like a medium one and a really hard quest. Obviously it's early access, the content's not fleshed out enough. Down the line someone might not find it as much of a grind because they'll have slowly progressed to that quest, but when it's the only thing you've got to do, you're like, well, time to grind my cooking to level 61 just for
time to cook 1,000 meals.
I spent all day yesterday. I was watching stuff and had it on my other monitor, cooking bacon sandwiches. Nice. Because also yesterday they did a quality of life update it was a thing people were asking for called first click action. So like if you click on something, it does the first option automatically. But before that, it would bring up a menu. You would then click I want to craft, then you click the thing, which obviously slows things down. They'd added that in, so it's like really easy to just brain AFK it. So I'm just there repeating the same bacon sandwiches while I watched. So this is going to sound like a wild journey of choices of watching. Okay. Yesterday, I got the random urge to watch Tokyo Drift.
That's valid.
Which I have on DVD.
Tokyo Drift is always valid.
And rather than trying to search for it I'm sure it probably was on a streaming site. But my PC has a disk drive that I had off. So funny thing is, right? This shows the age of my PC. It's like 9 years old. But even before that, even when I built it, I didn't need a disk drive. I had one in my old PC, which was my first one.
And you're like, well, that's perfectly good. I'm not throwing that out.
Well, no, it was more of like, there might be a time when I want to put a DVD in my, like, watch it on my PC or something, because it was still all physical media back then.
I'm surprised that the drivers for that even like work properly still.
There is no like drivers for a disk drive. It just uses VLC player.
Yeah, but it's been updated so many times now. I'm like surprised that it like works smoothly.
Here's the thing: chucked it in. It like played fine. Got the this was like, this shows how long it's been since I've watched this film, and just that DVDs in general.
Oh, is it like the you wouldn't steal a car ad?
Yes, it's the you wouldn't. It was like, you wouldn't
British
steal a
culture.
purse. You wouldn't steal a car.
Like the woman on like the fucking massive monitor, like
yeah, and it's the really intense music. I was like, this is a throwback.
Iconic.
So I watched that just on the side while I was playing. And then I was like, you know what I haven't watched? And I kind of like, not going into this fully not expecting anything good. I was like, fuck it, let's watch Fast X. I've watched all the others. Obviously, I am of the attitude of after 6, it was downhill. This is purely me just being like, knowing I'm going to watch a bad film. Let's see how bad this is.
Bad films are culturally very important, because how do you know you're seeing a masterpiece if you don't know what a piece of shit looks like?
Yeah. I would say slightly less outlandish than Fast 9. Only because
was when they went to space?
Yeah, only because they didn't send a car into space. There was still plenty of shit which is like, that's just wild. Okay, sure, we'll accept that happened.
It's just constant superhuman shit, isn't it?
And constant bringing people back from the dead. There's someone else been brought back. I'm sure you don't care for spoilers.
No, I don't.
You know Han's girlfriend in Fast 6?
Gal Gadot.
Who died, and that's why he then went off to Tokyo. But then Han got brought back in Fast 9. Guess who appears right at the end of Fast X? Right as the credits then strike.
No one in this motherfucker stays dead.
Obviously, it's like part 1 of a part 2 thing they're doing. So it ends on like a pretty big cliffhanger where half of them are meant to be maybe dead, but this is Fast and Furious. I'm like, okay, so none of them are dead. They're all just going to walk out of a cargo plane crashing.
Yeah. Pardon the poor taste, but only one person in the Fast universe stays dead.
Well, and he's not even dead in the Fast universe. He's just not on camera. It's what you would expect. Outlandish action. A little bit more street racing this time.
Not enough for a film that's about street racing, though.
Apparently, so Fast 11's going to be the other part of this. Apparently, Fast 12 will be the last one, and they're going to be back in LA, and that's where it's
we heard that Fast 10 was going to be the last one, though. I'm never going to believe it until Vin Diesel officially goes, we're not making another one.
If they're smart, they'll, which I know. I know what I just said. Like, Fast 11 is, they're also going to have the Rock's back.
I can't believe them egos all fit in the same building.
Money talks, let's be honest. Like, Fast 11 is going to be like, the other part of this is going to like be some crazy shit where all these people are back from the dead. It's all like, all these fucking cameos of characters from the whole thing. I hope this idea that they're back in LA and they get back to where they started, I'd love it if the 12th one is essentially just back to the beginning and they're just doing a street race, and that is just the premise of the film. Like, if that's actually how they end it, I think they would actually nail the landing. But I don't think that's what happens. Do you want to know what the film after this is? What I watched?
Go
on. Dune Part 1. from Fast X. I was like sat for a while, and I was like, you know what? I'm just kind of in a mood to watch some films and stuff. And I was like, fuck it, let's go watch Dune. I'm not gonna get both of them watched for today.
No.
And we'll see if next week I do like a review or not. We'll see how busy we are, or if we just focus on the TV show. But yeah, I've watched the first one. I mean, this is fucking sci-fi world that's sick. I love the visual creative language of this world that they've created from the book.
Mm-hmm. It's
Stunning.
good in it.
I'm locked in. It's great.
I'm sold.
Obviously,
give me the second one. Give me the show. Give me the film.
I can definitely see the second one's going to ramp up. Like the first one, obviously, I kind of expected it to be, but it is very much a setup film.
Absolutely.
For like the first Lord of the Rings was a setup. Like,
yeah,
it's
the
that idea.
The first book.
Yeah, but I mean, there was plenty happened in it. Very sick. Obviously, all the setup for the different things, the world that they built is very cool. I will, at some point over this next weekend, probably watch part 2.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've got the TV show. So I have a better, hopefully I will go into that having a much stronger understanding of.
Yeah, exactly. And the beauty is, even if you don't manage to get around to part 2 by the time you've seen like the first episode, it's not as big a problem because it's set so far in the past that it's just a better understanding of the world is always helpful, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, that's been my week. Watching random selections of films.
Just fuck it, throw something on. I've got wood to chop and I need something going on the background.
Got a game to grind, need something to watch, and I'm ill. So that's been my week. How's your week been?
I believe I said last week that when you get to this part of the year, just doing work becomes tediously difficult for no reason because of the nature of it getting close to Christmas and people being off and people being ill because it's winter and all that stuff. And this week has epitomised that in ways I didn't realise possible. It's just... I'm aware that I probably don't come across as chill as I feel like I am as a person.
Yeah.
I get that. I accept that. I do think inherently I am a pretty chill person, but I get passionate about things, and that doesn't necessarily come across as passion. It comes across as just But there have been a couple of times this week it's just been a big, and you just got to crack on and get going. But it is what it is. We move. Other than that, not too much. It's coming up to partner and brother's birthday, and then just Christmas period is go. It's just the last 6 weeks of the year is just one thing into another thing into another thing into another thing. So we'll do a recap of how are you still alive come fucking January, and we'll rebuild for the next year. It's just chaos. Days just disappear at this point, but we are not doing too badly. Let's get into our character profile.
Yes.
So wrapping up, or not completely wrapping up, getting near the end of our characters that I decided it'd be pertinent to cover based on Agatha all along, we have got Speed this week. Not the drug. We're not doing drugs on the podcast, not this week anyway. The character of Speed. So let's get straight into it. Thomas Shepard, or Tommy, is one of the reincarnated twins of the Scarlet Witch and Vision. He also operates as the hero Speed alongside his brother Wiccan. He first appeared in Young Avengers number 10, February 2006. After Mephisto tried to reclaim the transfigured souls of Thomas and William Maximoff, they were both reborn. And while Billy was blessed with a loving family, Tommy wasn't so lucky. Born to Frank and Mary Shepard, who divorced while he was still very young, he spent the majority of his childhood and early teens in and out of juvenile detention centres. His life became even harder when he accidentally vaporised his high school with his powers. He was placed in a high-powered facility designed to house powered individuals such as himself. However, in this facility, Tommy was experimented on in an attempt to make him a living weapon. It was only when the Young Avengers used the same failsafe program that brought them together did they become aware of Tommy's existence. Upon arriving to free him while looking for reinforcements for the problem they were having, and breaking him out of his cell, team member Stature instantly noticed that Tommy could be Wiccan's twin with how similar they looked. Tommy went on to join the Young Avengers and adopted the name Speed. Despite his anxieties about his past and becoming a hero, alongside his Young Avengers, he quickly became a crucial member to the team. After the superhero Civil War, where the Young Avengers fell on the side of Captain America, Wiccan decided he wanted to try and find the Scarlet Witch, and Tommy agreed to help him find her. Eventually, they found a depowered Wanda, suffering with amnesia, and engaged to Doctor Doom. After a battle broke out against Doom's army of Doombots, and some incredibly comic book shenanigans occurred, Wanda had her powers returned and her memories restored. Upon this happening, she confirmed that Billy and Tommy were in fact her reincarnated sons. So once again, we can kind of see how the MCU's taken a quite different approach, but is getting us towards a similar kind of end goal here.
Yeah.
It's less been about Mephisto stealing the souls of Wanda's children and then being reborn, and instead it's been kind of Wanda's reality morphing powers created these children, and then when she let them go because they didn't really exist, she's so powerful their souls became real. That allowed Billy to become real, and then Billy was able to go and find Tommy's soul and save it.
Yeah.
The major difference, of course, being they weren't born in the bodies they're now inhabiting. They have like fallen into them when the person who was born in that body died.
Yeah.
Which is a big difference. Speed's a really cool character for a lot of reasons. He gets to be part of Wiccan and Speed as a duo, which are incredibly interesting. But also, it allows them to have a lot of fun with the idea of Billy being raised in a pretty nice home, a pretty loving home, and Speed having to kind of just find a way to survive and make it work. But they both still end up becoming heroes because that's who they are.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to finally get them both fully fledged. And like, I know we're not getting a traditional Young Avengers roster, but I'm looking forward to seeing Kamala and Kate and Speed and Wiccan and maybe Ironheart start to team up and see this next generation come together and be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of fun potential there for the MCU to have.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. But yeah, that is Speed.
Very cool.
Right.
Penguin finale.
So, before we talk about the actual show, how many awards do they win? There's got to be some awards in there. There's got to be a lot of awards.
Yeah. I think, unfortunately for Agatha, I
don't think this show's going to be competing in the comedy category somehow.
You say that, but knowing the award people are like, oh, it's a superhero show, that's a comedy. Yeah, potentially, if Agatha's lucky, that this will probably end up in drama because of how good it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've smashed it. And the amount, what's wild to me is the amount of people that, because of the finale, are suddenly going, wait, this Penguin show's good? Like, some people have just been sleeping on it because they saw a Batman spin-off show, and then, like, I've seen so many people like, no, it's worth it. Like, you need, like, to people like that are doubting it. Can I just say, I'm sorry, Colin Farrell. I doubted you, but fuck Penguin.
Yeah, big time. It's really funny because we have a lot of ideas on this show, and we vocalize them ideas. We don't like hide behind any ideas, and there is always a chance that it's very easy to just kind of dismiss us and go, right, cool, you don't work in the industry. These are just ideas. They have no base.
Yeah.
To see something that me and you've been screaming about for ages of comic books on a genre, tell a comic book story within a genre, and then you have the genre being gothic crime, kind of that kind of genre to tell the Batman and the Penguin, and it working flawlessly.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like such a vindicated moment of cool. Now do the exact same thing. It doesn't need to be the same characters and the same story style, but the concept of I want to tell a Thor story and we're going to make it whatever genre that we think works is smart. We saw the same idea with like Werewolf by Night, where it was it was a comic book story, but it was told as a horror project and it worked.
Let's be honest, this has been done by DC before. Smallville.
Yeah.
That wasn't a super, like, your typical Superman TV. Like, this was a Smallville, son of a farmer. Oh, by the way, he's Superman. He's just going through high school. Like, they did that with intent of, let's tell like a high schooler's story, but the high schooler happens to be Superman.
Yeah. The genre we're going for is the high schoolers who are all clearly too old to actually be high schoolers, and it's a coming of age story. We're just making Superman the main character. Yes, absolutely. And we knew it worked back then, and they convinced themselves it didn't work. Yeah. And now, fortunately, the next time someone's properly tried it, we now have like a shining example of.
Yeah,
comic book fatigue isn't real when something like the Penguin can exist.
This is what we've said. There is no comic book fatigue. There is just bad execution, and people are sick of bad execution.
We have 100 years of comic book media. There are hundreds of thousands of great stories in there that have never been told to a wider audience. You just have to make sure you adapt to them and tell them in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild to now look at like the DC side of things, especially, and think that we had Smallville, which obviously looking back is dated to its time in the style, but that's fine. But it was a great show. We then got the CW era, and then we're here, and it's like, you really went wrong in the middle. Like, just stick to what clearly is working. And I mean, a shining example of how well this is hit, let's be honest, is this was always going to be a one season spin-off. There was no, Matt Reeves had said, I'm pretty sure, about like, oh, this is just a spin-off of the Penguin, like this isn't intended to be a long-running thing. And now there's we'll get into in the news later, but like there is talks now for a season 2 of this because it's done so well that they're like, hold on, let's not throw this away. We're onto something here.
In the most American media way ever. It's just like more seasons. Now I'm gonna say, me and you have both been worried for Vic for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And we've been huffing some copium.
Yeah.
I was huffing copium the entire episode.
So was I.
When I think I said it in Discord or something, when they were sat by the river, and obviously we're going to be jumping all over the timeline of the episode, as we always do. As they were sat by the river having that kind of like end of season chat, the second that Penguin said, "Here you go, finish that," I turned to Jenna and I went, "He's back to Mice and Men." I literally, the second he was like, "Here you go, kid, finish the rest of that," something in my brain went, "You've seen this trope before. He's gonna kill him. He's dead."
So I didn't have it as strongly as you.
Oh, the second that happened, my gut literally dropped. I was like, "No!" I thought he was gonna make it.
The way he was talking, and in the back of my head, I'm like, Vic knows a lot. Like in the typical trope of he's seen this villain at their like most vulnerable. He's dead.
And we know that perception has always mattered to Penguin.
He has a lot of leverage against him. Like a villain sees that as like, oh, you've got that as leverage against me now. I can't allow that.
Do you know what ironically was the biggest kind of red flag earlier in the episode about Vic being killed? The fact that he would willingly let his own mother lose a finger just so that he didn't have to
So-
openly admit that the perception of him was a murderer of his brothers.
So many things in this episode finally cemented Penguin as being like this shit. Just a shit.
Public, the perception of him is all that he cares about, to the point where everyone in the room knows he murdered his brothers. He still won't admit it because that then locks the perception that he just killed his own brothers out of jealousy.
Like, with them on the park bench, I was like, I didn't know if I didn't expect it in the manner of which it happened. But I was
brutal.
like, Vic knows too much. Like, if he gets out of this season, I don't think his future's safe.
Yeah.
Still, I was like, it's now just a ticking, or I was like, something's going to still happen before the end. I wasn't expecting it right in that moment. I was like, oh, Vic knows too much. And how we'd seen Penguin act in that whole episode, I was just like, unfortunately, Vic, you've been great, but you've got to know too much that Penguin doesn't want people to know about. Like, he hid his mother, and then he's just got to witness the Penguin have a breakdown. But to then strangle him right there, I was like, oh shit. And the way that they acted that was brutal.
Yeah, it was rough. Which we've said a couple of times. Like when Vic shot that dealer, we were like, that was really visceral. It didn't shy away from how gruesome it is.
Yeah.
It was the exact same thing again. Like you're just sat there on your sofa watching it, and you're like, there's nothing I can do to save Vic right now. And you just have to live with the fact that this is that. And yeah, it's characters, but like really good performances suck you in like that. And it was just a case of you felt like you're watching someone you cared about can be snuffed out in front of you.
I think the thing that added to it as well is, like, obviously all season we've been a bit like unsure, like Vic, Penguin having a right hand man's a bit, does that actually outlive this season? Then there was a point where like, oh, Vic's he's at a crossroad now. He either turns into this like number one right hand man gangster, or he runs away. You had the theory of like, what if he goes like Robin route for Batman?
I have something to add to that.
Well, with this episode, him gathering the gangs and then him having that play with the like Yakuza second level guy to all the lower level ones finally take over from the top dogs. Like, I was like, oh, Vic's now proving like he has gone full gangster. Like, Penguin's gonna be like, okay, shit, you have like crossed that bridge. But then as it got to the end, I was like, that's not enough to protect him.
Well, again, like in retrospect, this episode tells us the entire time that Vic is going to die. And another bit of like the massive obvious foreshadowing in retrospect, which is what really good foreshadowing is that in all of the other gangs, the second in command killed the boss.
Yeah.
Apart from Penguin and Vic, Penguin dealt with Vic.
Because we're shown to see Penguin as the second in command throughout the season, because he's under the Maroni and under the... But yeah, the whole thing...
He deals with his second in command so that he knows he's safe.
Yeah. But going to the whole finger, like that bit with his mum's finger, and we get to learn that his mum always knew, was going to have him killed but changed her mind, which is a messed up level of shit.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that whole... to the whole thing in the theatre, like the theatre place, where us as the viewers know, everyone in the room knows, but he won't admit, and he would let his mum's finger get cut off. I think that was the first thing in this episode where I'm like, okay, Penguin, like, we know he's a villain. We know comic books well enough, but there's definitely been a perception of him this season to be like more of your local gangster that looks after the local people, but like they tried to paint him in a better light than he is. This really showed, oh no, he is so self-centered and will do anything, doesn't care about anybody, even his own mother.
Do you know what I think that kind of is, like, thematically? I think that's been used as kind of a point of the way the show's been portraying him was you're succumbing to the Penguin propaganda yourself.
Yeah.
Like this image that he wants to put out of being for the people, and he's like, yeah, I do bad things, but I look after people. I don't hurt anyone who's not involved. Was literally like almost the first 7 episodes were us almost seeing what he wanted us to see, and then as it all got more chaotic, we saw more of his true colours. The taking advantage of every opportunity, being willing to kill anyone who even slightly upsets him, and all of that stuff building. And then by the end, you are just like, yeah, you are.
No, he's just a psychotic villain. Like,
Yeah.
Even after his mum snapped at him and said she knew, she thinks he's the devil, and stabs him with a glass bottle, he still acts like that's not just happened.
Yeah.
And saves her, like takes her to hospital, and was like, acts as if she hasn't just admitted that she knew. Like, he's so messed up in his head that he can't admit it because like, it's that thing where like people tell themselves a lie so long that they finally believe, like they don't know anything but that, like they can't actually believe the truth.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think with your thing of that, the 7 episodes has like been propaganda. I think with Vic added in that mix really helped sell it, because we're seeing him look after a local guy and help him out and train him up. We're like, okay, he's just trying to help better. And then it's like, this was the first thing. Then obviously that leads to everything going down. Like the gang's taking over. Sophia burning the house down. To her getting arrested.
Yeah.
And then you get like the celebration moment of sort of like, we did it. And then he kills Vic. And you're like, oh, he is just the villain. Do you want to know what I thought was the creepiest thing, though?
Go on.
Right at the end, he got his girlfriend, hooker friend, that to dress like
his mother,
dress like his mom, and then tell him he did. I was like, this. I forget what it is.
Cheek puppy.
No,
Oedipus.
Is that what it is? Where
Is
like people have an obsession with wanting to.
Yeah, Oedipus. Yeah, Oedipus complex.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he's got that. I couldn't think of what the term, but I was like, he's got that thing where he wants to be with his mum.
Yeah, absolute, and I was like, fucking weirdo.
This is so creepy now. And really, then I was like, this is why Penguin is a villain.
Are you ready for the even deeper part of that as well?
Go on.
His mother resented him for what he did to her brothers.
Yeah, now she's trapped with him.
But the hooker lady also knows that he knows about what Carmine did and did nothing about it.
Yes,
so the person that he's got cosplaying as his mother, who resented him for something that he didn't know she
also
knows.
resents. Shit, yeah. I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
This episode is teeming with that stuff and like dark parallels, like him throwing Vic's license into the water. The same water that killed his family, and now he's joining them.
Well, and also mirrored when he first got the license off Vic, when he first caught him and looked at his name, and then obviously put it back and gave it to him, but instead he threw it away this time.
And I realised why I was thinking Robin a couple of weeks ago.
Go on.
This has been a retelling of Robin. Vic is Robin, but he's not.
Okay.
And I know that sounds ridiculous, but thematically, he is Robin. He's been taken on by the main character. He's been trained by the main character. He's been developed by the main character. He's been protected by the main character. but that is to make us think that Penguin's a good guy, and then he deals with him how the Penguin would deal with him, not how Batman would deal with him. To make it more blunt, how did Vic meet Penguin? He was trying to steal the rims off of his car. Jason Todd met Batman by trying to steal the rims off the Batmobile. The difference
is who was the one being the mentor.
exactly.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
And it, like, with the parallel being like rims as well, they both die at the end, but that shows Penguin getting worse. Where that was actually a turning point for Batman in a, oh my god, I've got to protect people, I've got to be more, I've got to be better.
Well, yeah, the difference being that he didn't have a hero teaching him; he had a villain, and the villain, was a villain and showed his true.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird way of having a Robin story within a Batman world without it being Robin. And I genuinely think that's why I felt like he could become a Robin, because they were teeing him up and he was being treated like a Robin character, but just on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that them parallels are so striking when you look back at it, but I didn't even realise that that's what was making it feel familiar, has to be just a massive round of applause to the writers.
Well, I mean, yeah, we know Matt Reeves loves the Batman franchise. So if he's told he can't do or if he's not able to do a Robin, maybe, because they want to save Robin for the DCU or something, maybe he's finding his way of sneaking it in there. But, I mean, incredible series. Definitely set up a few things. So we obviously got Sophia gets arrested after Penguin goes to see his little congressman man.
Did I send you the
wallpaper thing?
That? Yeah.
So, okay, I saw multiple tweets about this. So in that courtroom, he's having this conversation of like, it's just, there's a crazy woman got released from Arkham, and then it's like basically being like, yes, I was involved in this. This is how I know it all, but I'm not going to tell you that, and you know that. But I'm spinning this in a way that you get all the information that does make plausible sense. Typical playing with politicians, making them into dirty. Like,
you get to go and be a hero.
You get to be a hero. Here's the information you need to elevate yourself, which you want to use because you're greedy in that sense. But we have a deal here that you're not going to get me involved in this, and you're going to let me continue. Basically, we saw him set this up when he first met the guy. But yeah, you sent me a tweet, and obviously I saw a lot of tweets where people like, this courtroom had wallpaper and it's owls. I can't see the fucking owls.
So if you look at the wallpaper and the silhouette created by the curtains, the shape that is left is an owl shape. It's like unequivocally an owl shape.
My brain didn't.
And then when you bear in mind that it's a courtroom, it's a court of owls.
Yeah.
You're dealing with like conspiratorial stuff. There was a couple of references in the first Batman film that had people going,
court of owls in the future. Yeah.
It really does make that a very real possibility in a very exciting way.
There's a few things that we know. Matt Reeves has said this is going to lead straight into the Batman 2. And that the villain will be set up in some way. Now, like you said, there's the Court of Owls, which is a theme theory that is run from the first film now into this, and plausible going forward. We've got Sophia's been arrested and gets a letter from her half-sister, Catwoman. Potential of some team up there of scheming together. So I don't think Sophia's fully out. Like, we were expecting Sophia to die.
Yeah, I thought that was a very real possibility.
They were just going to wrap that story. But, like, I don't mind them keeping her alive and having her come back again, essentially. And then we've got the Doctor, who still no one seems to be talking about much.
I have never felt so gaslit by people not mentioning something.
He's just back at Arkham?
Yes. He must have got the job back there simply to have access to her.
Theory. did he ever leave the job? Did he
Oh,
just say to her that he left the job then he got to stay close? Obviously, he was around her, but there was plenty of times when he's not there.
yeah. I mean, yeah. All we have to suggest that he quit was his word, which is worth dick all.
How do we know he didn't want to stay close to her because he was like trying to manipulate her a bit and like obviously had this strange obsession with her. But yeah, obviously, he's back in Arkham. He can be close to her still. He's back in a controlling position with her again. He's very sus. Like, still,
The fact that no one is talking about him is driving me up the fucking wall.
he's been so prominent. This whole red light, the thing we've seen now, where we saw it from the mum, actually, her reliving the dream.
Yeah.
It wasn't shown as a flashback. It was actually shown as her reliving the memory. Is very, like we said, Scarecrow vibes, where like the idea that you could make someone relive a memory but twist it is like literally a step away. And
but with the way they're kind of telling stuff in this world and wanting to stay away from the too fantastical, how do you make a fear toxin work? You make it something that makes you susceptible to memories but open to suggestion. Scarecrow sits right there. He might not be Scarecrow, but he knows Jonathan Crane. Jonathan Crane is his best friend or the person he shares a flat with or whatever.
I think in the Batman 2, either he's going to really start dabbling with what he's doing and pushing the experiments into a more darker place, or we're going to get Batman dropping someone off at Arkham or something, and it's a new scientist, and then that's going to be Kane. Like, there's a new young scientist who then learns these things from the ones that are there, but twists them because he's not all right. Like,
absolutely.
There's a something built. There's something there. Whether they actually do anything with it or it's just kind of like a bit of a tease, who knows? But I do think Batman 2 is going to have a few. There'll be one main villain fit storyline, but I think there'll be a few things like Sophia maybe and Catwoman, maybe something with this Scarecrow potential. It's very exciting. I know Matt Reeves, I think I sent it to you earlier, has said that the Batman 2 is going to be Batman struggling with being Batman and blaming himself for everything that's happened, which I guess kind of, you can use that to be like, that's why he never showed up when there was an explosion in the show.
Well, so as I think as an extension of that quote, he kind of said, the reason you don't really see Batman is Gotham is real and crime is everywhere. Batman is doing everything he can, but he is only one man, and he's kind of running himself into the ground. And also, they did cut a scene where Vic bumped into him.
Oh, like bumped into Bruce?
No, bumped into the Batman.
Oh.
But by the sounds of it, it didn't work or make sense, so they had to cut it. They couldn't make it work. So they weren't like completely against him being there. They just couldn't find a way for it to make sense.
Well, yeah.
And I think for how kind of raw Batman was in the Batman, it makes sense that if he's feeling really guilty for what went wrong, he would be focusing on stopping obvious crimes that are happening as a result of that. I.e. the less organised crimes, the people stealing from each other just to have food and stuff of that nature. The organised criminals are smarter, they're more hidden. He's going to deal with what he can see.
Yeah.
And not go looking for something deeper right now because there's just so much to deal with.
True.
I do disagree that with him, like, not even remotely giving a fuck about something getting blown up, though. I don't know how...
I get
Unless that's how they introduce his reaction to Penguin in the Batman 2. If in the Batman 2, he comes flying through that fucking window at the end of the episode and goes, tell me what you know about the explosion, fair enough.
And gives him the beating that he deserves for Vic.
When they were dancing around up there and I saw that big window, I was like, show me some feet coming through that motherfucker.
I get them struggling to find a way to use that clip of, like, because you don't want it, which we said from the beginning, you don't want to just chuck Batman in for the sake of it, and then if you do it wrong, people go, "Oh, he was only there," so you can be like, "Batman's in this." I still
Completely.
think they could have got round it, like we said last week, where you have the criminals talking about so and so when like someone's snooping around. It's that guy that like speaking
Yeah.
about it in kind of hush hush.
One of our shipments got nabbed by the bat.
Yeah, like
Whatever.
have him be like outskirts in that sense, but I guess we'll wait and see. Also, like this is obviously going to get talks for a season 2 now. We've got the Batman 2 coming, and we've got another spin-off. Like Matt Reeves is like potentially going to just go running with this world. It seems.
You know what has me weirdly excited, and I hadn't considered it. Colin Farrell has said he's got a couple of scenes in the Batman 2.
Yeah.
We're looking at a season 2, and he said he's also signed on for a third film.
Yeah.
As the Penguin. Yeah? That would mean that for the first time in comic book media of this scale, we're getting recurring villains.
Yeah, he will be the most recurring.
Do you know who the most recurring villain is right now? Loki.
Joker. Oh, I thought you meant in
No, I mean like within one franchise.
Yeah.
It's Loki.
Which is
and
wild.
Even by the halfway point, he's a fucking hero.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love Tom Hiddleston, I love Loki, but one of the really good selling points of making this feel like an actual superhero world is villain. Like the Batman's perfect. Well, I throw the motherfucker in Arkham, he breaks out, I catch him again, I throw him back in. That is the Batman loop. He's doing his best, but shit happens. It feels like they're setting that up a little bit.
We know as well with Penguin and Batman, we saw it in the first one, like he sometimes uses Penguin when he needs to. Like they have that relationship of Penguin is a villain, don't get it wrong, but like Batman will leverage him for what he knows of what's going on.
And I think he's going to turn on him now that he's so important.
Yes, but I think we might see Penguin need Batman's help. Because if Sophia gets out with Catwoman, suddenly he's being hunted by them two. Maybe he turns to Batman to be like, so like be like, oh, I'm in trouble, please help me. And Batman's like, quit the fucking bullshit. But yeah, this Sophia's running fucking chaos around town. That as the hangman, maybe if like she fucking lives into it.
Maybe this time she fully does snap and becomes the hangman. Yeah.
Like I see their dynamic. Like they're obviously going to use him as the street level mobster. Like they've done a really good job of telling that side of Gotham, and they've nailed it. Like you say, we've ended this going, Penguin's a fucking villain, which is what they need, because if they want him to recurring villain, we don't want the Loki effect where if they got to the end of this and it's like Vic's still alive, and we'd be like, oh, Penguin's just a mobster, but he's not a villain. Like he's a bit messed up in the head, but like they made sure that we ended this season going, Penguin is a fucking villain.
There was a real concern at one point we were going to end this show going, okay, yeah, he's a bad dude, but it's better than Carmine Falcone being in charge. He's heinous. Yeah. And at the end, we're like, Christ, they are all just as evil as each other. Batman, please throw them in Blackgate. Get them gone. Get them in prison. Lock them up.
So I'm intrigued to see. I'm looking forward to if they do a second season of that being, obviously, I presume after Batman 2, at least, getting to see how he's now running things and what comes of that. What the next spin-off might be is also potential for something really cool.
I think this is a really strong case study for the Elseworlds concept. Like, if you've got a clear vision of what you want to do with a character, I feel like you can go to James Gunn and go, you let Matt try this with a clear artistic vision and it worked. That's what I want to do with The Flash or whoever. And I think that this becomes a case of, okay, we'll do another one. And if it doesn't have to like. I'm not saying it needs to be married to this like noir style or whatever. But say you want to do a Flash project and it has a very distinct style that doesn't mess up with the DCU and it works. At that point, you're going to get more Elseworld projects, and more Elseworld projects with a clear tone and vision is what's going to end up making comic book media massive again, because there will be something for everyone again.
Do you know what I've just thought they could do as another spin-off? Just throwing this out as a prediction. We've obviously got the Batman films showing it from Batman's perspective. We've now got this Penguin spin-off showing the villain underworld street level. What if we had like a TV show that is focused on a reporter?
Oh, investigating
A reporter in Gotham, yeah, that would deal with the Gotham police, both the good and the corrupt, would try and probably get hold of Batman, would be tracing what the fuck Penguin's doing and stuff, like finds themselves in some like mess of a case that potentially ties them into this world, like a different perspective than just hero or villain. It's like that, or a cop in Gotham Police that isn't corrupt or like slowly ends up being in the wrong place at the wrong time, sort of thing.
Yeah. There's options. It's one of the more fleshed out versions of Gotham we've ever got.
Mm.
And I'm right there with you in the sense of like, please don't let it go to waste. Squeeze every story out of that city. I'm definitely excited to see what comes next from Matt Reeves and co, though, and I'm so glad that this show has stuck so well to get people excited for DC again.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about Brazil, D23.
Yeah, the other side of the pond in Marvel's world.
We said we'd keep an eye on it. We'd see if it's worth talking about. We weren't 100% sure what we'd get.
Yeah.
But we've got some interesting bits. So I'll talk about all the bits that we kind of got, and then we'll go through them. So general Disney stuff. Incredibles 3 is getting made. They're working on the script. Ice Age 6 is happening. Yeah.
Missed that.
We're getting a Zootopia sequel.
Oh.
Star Wars. We got a trailer and a premiere date for Andor Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the Marvel side, we got a Daredevil trailer. We got told that Fantastic Four is due to finish filming in a few weeks. We got a Thunderbolts trailer, and we got a Captain America trailer.
Yep.
Now, the Daredevil trailer has not been made public yet.
Apparently, it was the same one that they'd shown at D23.
D23 in North America, yes. I'm hearing the same things. But we've not seen that trailer yet, other than bits and pieces in different media and some grainy re-uploaded footage.
I mean, it's slightly more than I think we were sort of expecting. We said maybe we'll get some new trailers.
We were pretty confident on getting a Captain America trailer, with that being the next big release and it being their first time in Brazil. That seemed like the kind of thing that would make sense to have. But other than that, we were very much
it's probably just going to show. We kind of just presumed they'll show the Slate video that we had a few weeks ago. That kind of teased things. But we got some really good trailers.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and you were losing our mind over the quality of the Thunderbolts and Captain America trailer.
So the Thunderbolts one dropped first. And I mean, the vibe of the Thunderbolts trailer, Thunderbolts asterisks, because that's important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the vibe of that film looks so much fun. And something that I think this trailer helps settle a concern you had back when we first got a tease for this, which was, you said Bucky looked very grumpy, almost like he'd regressed into his old ways. I think this trailer kind of goes, no, he might not be happy with who they're dealing with, but he's definitely not the grumpy, like Winter Soldier Bucky he was.
He feels like he has to be there because he's doing the right thing. He just doesn't like the people he's being forced to work with.
Yeah.
It is more the tone that comes across.
It's almost like I'm doing the right thing, but this is for some weird government company, and I don't trust them. But
Yeah.
I need to do
It's
it
almost
anyway.
like I miss Steve. He always knew what to do in these situations.
And it's almost like he's like, I've got to babysit these idiots, sort of vibe.
I'm a World War II veteran. What do you mean I'm dealing with these fools?
But the vibe, and we got not a set in like clear as day answer, but we got basically an answer to who bought Avengers Tower.
Yeah.
I forget her name now. The lady that has been hiring
Valentina.
Valentina, that hired agents.
Everyone.
Yeah, hired everyone, but we've seen her at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier. She was in that a
Black
little
Widow.
bit. Black Widow. She's been popping up here and there.
Evil Nick Fury.
Yes.
And that lends itself even more when you consider the fact they bought Avengers Tower. She's been rounding people up in post-credit scenes. It's a team of people who don't really get on at first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit concerned about one thing.
Okay.
Thunderbolts Asterisk has been something that I thought was going to be quite exciting.
Yeah.
They play off the asterisk as a joke when Red Guardian goes, "We are the Thunderbolts," and then he's like, "We're not that." If it is just going to be as simple as none of them like the name, I'm going to be fuming. I really hope it turns into, oh, we've said it's this team, but it's actually this team.
I still think it'll be what I said, which is like the file is called Project Thunderbolts, and we're gonna see that at some point, and it's gonna have like all their pictures, and it's like the code name for this project is Thunderbolts, and it's been her gathering people, and obviously they're told this is Project Thunderbolt, which is why Red Guardian's like Thunderbolts. But I'll be intrigued to see if they come up with their own name, or if it's not really addressed in the film, but like at the end credits, there's a name like credit title card or something.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
This is actually what they're called.
That's what I'm most curious about as well. But the film looks like a lot of fun. A lot of people think that Taskmaster is just going to be cannon fodder based on the lack of their appearance in the trailer. Everyone's like, you don't really see a lot of Taskmaster in the trailer. I wonder if that's because they just kind of get destroyed early as like a shock moment.
Yeah, maybe. Also helps get rid of the fan annoyance around Taskmaster, which I know
that
you
like
have.
it's. Let me be clear, because that could be taken the wrong way. I do not care they made Taskmaster a woman.
No.
I care they made Taskmaster not really Taskmaster anymore by making them a silent creep instead of an annoying weirdo who just knows everything.
They didn't do the Taskmaster character justice.
Yeah, Taskmaster being a woman, actually, I think in the MCU worked beautifully with like the context of the Red Room, but they just decided to try and tie her into Black Widow's tragic backstory. Yeah, instead of Taskmaster being a wisecracking weirdo. So I would not be surprised if they do kill Taskmaster off and then have someone assume the mantle of Taskmaster who is more Taskmastery.
Yeah. I mean, the vibe between them all looks like a lot of fun, especially the chase in the car.
Yes.
When he's like, "Come on!" It's in like this limousine.
Yeah, so it looks like Red Guardian's been running like some kind of premier taxi service or something.
Probably that's probably how he's been making money.
I've got a feeling this film is going to get shit on by the internet. But I've got a feeling I'm going to leave it. I'm going, it's a fuck ton of fun and it's not bad at all. Like the level above Venom, where I'm like, it's fun, but it's a bad film. I think I'm going to come out and go, this film is a lot of fun and it's a solid to good film.
I think it'll be a good film. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think the general fan will be like, yeah, but how does this fit into the Avengers storyline? Like, they'll be like, this just seemed like a side film for side. Like, they'll not just enjoy the film, they'd be like, this doesn't make sense. It feels disconnected, as they love to say. Why have they bought Avengers Tower? Something like that.
Yeah, that's going to definitely be a big sticking point, I feel. I'm very, very excited to see what exactly goes on with Bob.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how they do that. I would love, and I'm guessing, I would love if they do try and pull off, even if they don't stick the landing, I want them to have the balls to try and pull off the Sentry was part of the original Avengers, the world just forgot him. I would. They might not stick the landing. I might go, oh, you've done that poorly. But I want them to have the balls and bravery to try it.
Yeah.
Because I think if the risk reward there is so in their favor.
They could play it into the whole like snap and everything.
Because here's the thing.
Back.
As a viewer, what is your argument? It's like, well, I don't remember him. It's like, that's the point. No one remembers him. The world forgot him. Like, it plays into that so beautifully that I think there's a way to make it work. I just think he's going to be government experiment gone wrong bullshit.
I enjoyed the line between Bucky and the Red Guardian when he's like, oh, so what super serum did you get? And he says Hydra, and he's like, ooh, fancy. Because obviously he just got Russian super serum.
Him still being so adamant that he wants to be a hero, despite like having no like hero traits, is so funny. David Harbour, I think, is going to end up being like an all-timer casting for that, especially now that we're going to get to see him in an even more in-depth extended role.
There's going to be so many like, because there's two of them with super serum essentially. It's going to be this.
John as well.
Oh, yeah. But, like, between Bucky and him, they're going to be like, oh, I can do that too. And the Red Guardian's going to try and do something. And he's going to be like, oh, bye-bye.
I find it really funny that we've got, and I know a lot of people use this as a bad thing. I actually quite like it. We've got 3 Captain America ripoffs. And I don't mean that in a bad way to all of them. Red Guardian is literally Russian and Captain America.
Yeah.
US Agent is literally tried to be Captain America but couldn't hack it. And Bucky is everything Captain America is, but in a darker way. And they're all so distinctively different.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to have a lot of fun with that trio. I'm excited. They are all very good actors in this film. The only thing that sucks a little bit, and I think that's more so because of how good the last few years have been, is it's lacking a little bit of visual style to me. It feels very early MCU. We just want a consistent tone so that it all feels like it's taken place together. And having just had the Penguin, which is so visually unique, and Agatha, which is so visually unique, and we're getting ready for Dune Prophecy, and the Dune film's so visually unique.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, could you have maybe had a bit more fun?
Maybe there's potential for them to do that once it's actually revealed who this squad up is and they have outfits.
There is an absolute chance, because we know what Marvel are like with their trailers, that they have hidden parts of the trailer for a certain reason. For all we know, in that one where they're all looking up into the sky like that, Sentry is at the end of that in like a relatively comic accurate suit, and they've just rubbed him out of that.
Yeah, there could be a whole suit up bit that we've not seen yet. But
exactly.
Following that trailer, we got the Captain America trailer.
Have you ever seen such a juxtaposition of trailer vibe before, by the way?
Oh, yeah, it was like, oh, this is a completely different vibe of MCU just from the trailer alone. I mean, we were told it was very espionage-esque, kind of back to Winter Soldier vibes.
Which is a very brave thing to say to me.
Well, yes, it is.
We know how I feel about that film.
Yes. I feel like the way they edited it, instantly I was like, this feels different to an MCU, and that gives me confidence that they have gone back to a Winter Soldier vibe. Just, it had, I don't know if it was like, gave me James Bond sort of like, with the way it was cuts and stuff, like the split screen thing, like that editing, there was something in my brain kind of clicked spy film.
Yeah, no, they got that across in like the visual language really well. One thing I also really enjoyed was it was very not quiet per se, but it wasn't at the forefront of the audio. It was like a kind of very rhythmic kind of ticking and beat to kind of up that. The tempo was just a little high on it. So as you're watching it and listening to it, you're a bit more on edge. You're like, something's happening.
Yeah.
It's intense. It's important. We got a sneak peek of the new Falcon in suit a little bit,
Yes.
which I'm very excited
The way
about.
he lands and then he goes, just wait a moment, and then there's the shockwave.
That was really cool as well.
But then the Falcon in his suit, like
when they're on like the air carrier or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Like,
we got
plane
obviously a lot of Harrison Ford. I think he's going to be great.
Harrison
That's what it is.
Ford is a phenomenal actor, and I know a lot of the time we enjoy him more for just his disregard for franchises. He turns up, he's extremely professional, he's a very good actor. I do not care if he knows a damn thing about the MCU. The guy turns up, does his job incredibly well, and goes home. That is actually all I expect from an actor. Is it nice when you get someone like, I was going to say Kamala Khan then, Iman Vellani, who cares about the
Who
character?
is Kamala Khan?
Yeah, and just adores the character? Yes, of course that's great. But it's unfair and unrealistic to expect everyone who gets cast to feel that way. And Harrison Ford, I think, is actually a nice little reset for people. And I think him and just him alone should do all of the press for this film. Just send him out, and then when they ask like proper MCU nerd questions, like, "Oh, will we be seeing Wanda soon?" He can just go, "I don't know who the fuck that is. Are they in this film? No, cool. Why would I know then?"
Are they a Hulk like me? No, okay, I don't know.
And one thing I will say to the racists who are going to still go try and claim that Sam Wilson isn't Captain America, Steve never had the balls to fight a Hulk.
True.
And he had super soldier serum. Sam's out here with some fucking wings trying to get this shit done. Big up that boy.
Oh, I mean, let's be honest, that suit is putting in work. But
Cutting the car in half with the wings is one of the dopest things we've seen
throwing
in a
the
while.
shield at the missiles and it was bouncing between them. We're obviously going to get to see the celestial that's now adamantium rock that is obviously for, like, there's going to be
apparently it's a major plot point.
I imagine it's something to do with different countries want control of it. Usually,
I think we might have some kind of America's invaded this because of the oil adamantium type vibe to it.
Yeah. The idea though of the entire, like, the president's inner circle is compromised. Do we think they try and tie in certain things from Secret Invasion with skulls?
Maybe. I really don't know. I think it would be difficult to do it, and I also think the reception of that was so bad they'd like to forget it happened.
Do we think that maybe that had been originally part of the concept?
I absolutely think initially it was. I absolutely believe that. One thing that I saw a lot of people on the internet getting confused about, and I just want to put that to rest if it also confused anyone else. Some people were like, why were there flames coming off of the shield when he punched it? Why would a fist create a spark on a metal shield? For those who don't know, Red Hulk gets hotter the angrier he is and does produce heat. To the point where if he gets angry enough, he kind of blows up and then reverts to human form.
I didn't know that.
It is going to be a plot point that of him getting angry, him literally like exploding, and it causing a bunch of devastation. And then a plot point later being, right, we can't fight him, we have to calm him or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he can't. So like the idea of the Hulk is he gets angry, he gets bigger, and there's like no upper limit to that. With the Red Hulk, instead it's as he gets angry, he gets hotter, but there is an upper limit to that, and then he kind of resets.
Right, yeah.
Very, very curious to see what happens with that. But that is why him punching something would create sparks, because it's heat hitting metal.
I knew Red Hulk was like heat focused.
I mean, he's red. That's the color of fire, baby.
It's gonna be interesting. I do wonder if we get any hint about Bruce, or like, because obviously he's learned to control it. I'm
I'm curious to know if there's any more information about the Hulks.
I'd love a post-credit scene, and it's like they're having a little like Hulk meeting, like therapy session, and it's like Hulk, Abomination, Hulk's son, and then you got Thaddeus as Red Hulk, and it's like, okay, so why did you get angry this week? It's like a little,
that'd be
like
so funny.
like an AA meeting for Hulks.
So there is a Hulk side character called Sasquatch,
Okay,
who is a doctor, and he's literally a therapist to superheroes in the comics.
that would be funny,
So that would be very, very funny.
but I don't think that goes with this. But
The vibe of this film is
Yeah.
very exciting to me. I cannot wait to see what they do with it, and I hope they stick the landing because, and I'm not being hyperbolic here, Captain America, Fantastic Four, Daredevil, Thunderbolts all releasing next year in the first half of the year. Literally has the power, if they go 4 for 4 there, to instantly get rid of any of this MCU is dead bullshit.
Yeah. And also that if this film sticks the landing, I think it finally shakes any of those he's not Captain America comments that some people still hold on to.
Yeah, unfortunately, whether we like it or not,
there's obviously the racist
there are always
ones
going
will
to be
not,
some of them people.
but I think there'll be a few, like, it will help a lot of people go, okay, he's Captain America. Like,
yeah,
the way he was in this film, he's taken over the mantle well. I mean, the future of the MCU has a lot of potential right now.
I'm more excited about the MCU right now than I was 18 months ago.
Yeah.
I feel like we've never really had a better spot. Daredevil looks really cool. We're starting to see more bits of like the Muse costume, which looks very comic accurate in a very fun way.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of them ones where, despite what we do here every week, with the amount going on, I'm kind of okay to not look too much at what's happening with Daredevil. You know, like when you're really excited for a bit of food and it's in the oven, and if you check it too often, you feel like it takes longer to cook.
Yeah.
I'm kind of doing that with Daredevil. I'm like, no, if I forget it's there, when Hori goes, oh, that's starting next week, I get to go, fuck yeah, it is, it's here. Oh my God, can you believe it? I'm just kind of gaslighting myself into thinking it's never going to happen, so that when it's finally here, I can just like, oh my God, I didn't even realise it was coming.
Did you see that there is already kind of thoughts being thrown around for Daredevil's going to be more than one season?
I think it makes sense.
There's also like they want to bring him into the what they say into the MCU, which I see as they want to bring him into the films. They also want to have Punisher be brought back in properly, which I think means this goes well, we get a Punisher series again.
So here's what I want them to do, right? This is my wish list.
Okay.
Bob Iger, get your checkbook out. Kevin Feige, take some
Get
notes.
your notebook.
Yeah. They need to smash out the park with Daredevil series.
Mm-hmm.
They need to give us a Daredevil season 2, a Punisher season 1.
Yep.
New one.
And Jessica Jones, then Luke Cage, then
one, we only need them ones to start. Once they have smashed it, you then give them a slightly larger budget. You go to Sony and you say, fuck you, we want Spider-Man on TV. And they really start to make street level happen. Street level in Marvel happens in New York, whether we like it or not. You cannot have that happening with no acknowledgement of Spider-Man. And then we can have Spider-Man films be the big films that Sony want them to be, because you're satisfying the day-to-day needs via TV. I accept we're not going to get a Spider-Man TV show, even though it is the freest money that money could money. Like, it's there. That's fine. Have him appear in fucking everything else. Have him appear to fight Punisher in an episode of Punisher. Have him turn up to team up with Matt. Have him turn up to Jessica Jones and have Jessica Jones be like, oh my God, I had a crush on you in high school, because that's an actual thing that happened. Yeah? Make it... Just have him, like, just every single season of the Jessica Joneses and the Luke Cages, the Netflix, just have a Spider-Man episode in every single one written in by law.
Yeah, I mean that obviously would be sick if we can get that.
Because people instantly, because Spider-Man is like the gold standard, people instantly shut up about interconnectivity. And I actually think after doing maybe 3 or 4 seasons of that, they'll go, oh, we should just do a Spider-Man TV show. He gets to fight his rogues. And then I get to go, I told you this 10 years ago, you could have made $1 billion by now.
Yeah, I mean, I do think Daredevil's going to be their catalyst to link some of the street level. We saw it with him showing up in She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to lean into Daredevil being the central thing. Obviously, Punisher is going to be in this first one. Hopefully, he gets his own spin-off. Whether we see a new Jessica Jones series or a new Luke Cage, I think it would be cool to have those people come back and get to have a fresh go at it.
I can't remember if it's been confirmed or not, but I believe there's very heavy rumours and maybe even some set leaks that Kristen Ritter, who plays Jessica, was on set for Daredevil Born Again.
Possibly then.
So if that is true, that's very exciting.
I still stand by. I think they should give the Iron Fist guy another shot at it. I don't think Netflix were fair to him, but only because I think the right script and the whatever could give him that chance to prove it. I know you're like mixed on if he should get another shot.
I've not really seen him in anything else to know if it was solely the script's fault or partly his fault. And you know, sometimes there's a bad taste in your mouth. You're like, I know the sausage roll I had isn't always going to be bad, but it's just kind of put me on sausage rolls. It's that kind of vibe.
My thought is you get the stunt coordinators and the fight coordinators from Shang-Chi to work on an Iron Fist TV show with good TV script writers. And we know that the fitness guys can get the MCU actors in shape.
Steroids.
Like, I reckon he could give it a good go. But whether we see a full reflesh out of that, I don't know. Yeah, I think they're definitely going to lean on Daredevil. Would love, obviously, if Spider-Man somehow gets involved. But yeah, I mean, the future is looking good. We just need them to stick the landing with these things.
Yeah, we just need to trust them to trust the creative people to do what they do best.
Yeah.
And from D23, we move on to the gaming space as Josh is back again with more gaming news. Welcome back, Josh.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to another episode with boys. 10-question quiz to round it off today. So
yay! Can't wait to lose.
Well, we want that belt, belt.
That's fine.
But yeah,
I'll cope.
Sorry, I believe, mate. You got this.
I don't.
It's time to claw your way back because Con is walking away with it at the minute.
That's fine.
Kicking things off, a little roundup on the games that we discussed that were yet to release last month. New World Eternal, which Hori had some thoughts on in last month's episode, sitting at a 75 average on Metacritic. I mean, is that higher or lower than you was expecting, Hori?
I'm more intrigued to know like how that compares to what New World got when it launched.
Oh, New World looked pretty strong, didn't it?
Yeah, because everyone was like hyped about it. All I've seen from like some of the content creators that I used to follow for New World, but obviously have been playing this, is there's still the same old issues that New World had. It's just now the console players are getting to experience it.
With us.
Yeah, I haven't touched it, and I probably won't. It seems like it launched fine. Obviously, there's a bunch of new content creators trying it out to try and push it, but I don't think it's really going to do much for it. In my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm looking at the first one now, and that's sitting on a 70. So it's got a boost of 5.
Okay, so it got 5 for all the bugs it fixed over 2 years.
It seems like it. It's a solid effort. Super Mario Party Jamboree got an 82, which is actually the highest Mario Party game currently on the Switch. Obviously, it's never going to beat the old OG ones, but 82 is pretty solid. The one that I'm looking to pick up.
I think I'm too competitive a person who plays too many video games to ever really see value in like a party game like this. Because what? It gets to Christmas, I get this out with the family, and I just absolutely stomp the floor with them. And I'm a horrific winner. I'm not going to let them forget that I beat their ass.
This is where you're playing Mario Party games wrong as an adult. You play things like Super Mario Party, and if you get a star, you have to drink. Or you make it who can actually lose. And then it becomes really annoying actually purposely trying to lose Mario Party, because if you get a star, you get pissed off, which makes for a fun dynamic. I've done that
And
before.
think of the RNG in Super Mario Party. There's no guaranteed winning, so you're either going to get really drunk or get the ump because you didn't win because of the RNGs.
Yeah, I'm just not the kind of person that can be trusted with party video games. It's just not for me. Get Monopoly out.
Call of Duty Black Ops 6. We will be discussing this one in a bit. Currently sitting at 83 average across all platforms.
Not bad.
Pretty solid.
I've not played the campaign yet, but all I've heard is it might be one of the best COD campaigns ever. Like that's all I'm hearing.
The same. Yeah, I'm hearing very good things.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a Treyarch game that's had more time to cook than basically any COD game ever. Are we surprised it's very good? Not particularly. It's just nice for the first time in what would be considered like the modern era, post Modern Warfare 2019, to actually have a game that genuinely feels fun to play.
I don't disagree with that at all. One that the score breaks my heart a little bit. I've not finished it yet. Life is Strange Double Exposure.
Is that worst game of the month I'm seeing there based on scores?
It's sitting at a 73.
It's a bit rough.
Some of the reviews I've not finished yet. I'm 2 or 3 chapters in. I'm really enjoying my time with it so far. Some of the criticisms that I've seen that are bringing the scores down some of them are valid, and some of them are a lot of people being annoyed at wokeness, which always grinds my gears, bringing the score down just because people are stupid. So I won't go much more into that, but 73, I would have preferred it a little bit higher, seeing as the other ones scored so well.
It's always difficult now to trust any kind of crowdsourced score when there is such a push on the internet of hate anything that's deemed woke. And woke as a word has lost all meaning at this point. But I, as a general rule, for the most part, with a few exceptions, trust your opinion on games over the scores. So if you're enjoying the game, I'm sure it's a good game.
That's very nice of you to say, mate.
I don't know if I'd trust Josh.
Yeah, he has some stinky opinions, don't get me wrong. He thought Starfield was a waste of time. What
no, that one I can't agree with.
That's valid. That's valid.
How many hours do the two of you have in Starfield? Combined?
Enough.
Do you
enough
have
to know
30
that it's
minutes
not
combined?
good. I have 0, and that's enough to know I wouldn't enjoy it.
Sweet, yeah.
I've got a couple of hours, maybe 2 max.
Yeah, cool.
That was enough for me to decide it wasn't for me. But rounding out the games, Dragon Age Veilguard, one that we all expressed some interest in last month, actually, is an 82. I don't know if that's as high as they were probably hoping it to be, but 82 is still a pretty solid score.
I mean, this game has also been a target of, similar to Life is Strange, oh no, it's wokeness and stuff. So I'm actually pleasantly surprised that scores as high as that.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like the kind of thing that would get review bombed, because I know there's a couple of accounts on Twitter that are pretty big in that space of driving hate towards things, and they kind of seem to zero in on this game a little bit, so I'm actually surprised that it managed to break the 80s.
Yeah, like I say, 82 is nothing to complain about.
No, not at all.
And then yet to release for the rest of what month we're in, November and early December, Lego Horizon Adventures, which actually releases today as we're recording it on the 14th. I'm not sure how that's going to review. For some of the early embargoed opinions that I saw, wasn't actually that great at all.
What's the point of it? Is it just a remake of the original game, but just all Lego?
No, so it's not like a usual. Say you had Lego Avengers, for example. It's not a replay of the film in Lego form. It's some weird open world, completely different adventure. So it's not what people were after, basically. There's a lots of bugs. The game, the combat's underwhelming from what I've heard.
I'm always don't really if like reviewers that do early reviews and they're like, oh, there's loads of bugs. I'm like, that's just games nowadays. You've got an early release copy. Everyone knows nowadays that there's day one patches. So like if all their like bad things are just, oh, it's a buggy mess or this didn't work, I'm like, okay, well, we'll wait and see when it's actually out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so next month I'll probably recap that one. We can give it a score near at a time. But one that I am expecting to get high 80s, I want to say, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. I think that's going to score really high.
I feel like they just don't miss with these games, do they?
They don't. I think it's
hard to miss when the people that love those games just want it to be a realistic flight sim. So as long as they nail that, which they have been, I
feel like when it comes to any kind of realism game, if someone tries to complain about something, people are just going to go, well, how good are you at it? And then if someone goes, oh, I'm not that good, they're just going to go, well, get better then. I feel like that's like a real thing in any kind of realism game. If you have a legitimate complaint, a lot of the time the diehard community will be like, it's a skill issue, get better.
Yeah, I feel like the older flight sims, people will be like, oh, the graphics are a bit rubbish, and they'll be like, yeah, but it flies like a real plane. We don't care about that. It feels like a real plane. That's why we're playing it.
Yeah.
So.
And it's also like gorgeous these days as well, which is crazy. You need like 12 supercomputers to get the most out of that game.
They're adding like quests and stuff in it. Actually,
yeah. So you can you can be like a have like a paramedic helicopter and have to like rescue people off mountains and stuff like that.
Can I be a drone pilot
it does
for the
look pretty
US
cool.
military?
I won't be there. I'm assuming it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, the flight sim games are always on Game Pass.
So yeah, I think that's going to score high 80s. Have to keep an eye out for that one. One that I'm excited for, Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl. It got pushed back a lot because of the war in Ukraine, but it's
I was
going to
say, I swear this game was supposed to have come out like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been pushed a lot because of everything that's going on with Russia and Ukraine, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
But 20th of November.
Devs, if I remember right.
20th of November, it will be there. It is day one Game Pass. Highly recommend everyone checking this one out. It's going to be very good. Have either of you played the first one?
No, I haven't. I never got around to it.
I've played a bit of it. I haven't fully played it.
It's old now. It came out like late 2000s, I think.
It was a while ago. It's one of those that lives in the world of like Metro and stuff.
Yeah.
That kind of.
Like one of them ones like you see gameplay and you get more confused.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's where we'll give a go. We'll have to have a look at that.
Day one Game Pass, mate. If you don't like it, you don't have to carry on.
Exactly.
One I do think we're going to be carrying on: Marvel Rivals on the 6th of December.
I'm as long as the studio doesn't get shut down.
I mean, in all fairness, based on I assume we will get into that in a little bit. But it seems like, based on what I'm seeing, this isn't going to actually affect the game in any meaningful way. It might make its success a little more difficult to judge and stuff, but it seems like the game's going to launch no problem. They've still been promoting it the same amount. If anything, they've been ramping up promotion. They're announcing new heroes. I want this game to be super fun for me and to take all my time. I'm like actively willing it. All it has to do is be enjoyable, and it's got me for a while.
Yeah, I mean, the joke about the news, it's like, it's some devs and some execs of this thing. It's like, in the grand scheme of things, it at most might affect future content like this, if might delay that stuff, but the game's going to be basically done at this point.
Yeah.
So
it'll be a case of release it, and as long as it's doing well, we'll find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to it. Obviously, the news with all the money laundering stuff is not ideal.
Alleged.
Alleged money laundering. But the actual, obviously that's only certain individuals. You can't blame the whole team for stuff like that, because I have seen they're already implementing and I daily check in their anti-cheat to make sure that's going to be super effective. I think if they can get the content right and not make it feel dry throughout December, it's coming out at the start of the month, they could do a lot going into Christmas and stuff like that. I don't see any reason why it would fail. I didn't get to play any of the alphas or betas.
No, did I? Despite my various pleads of someone give me access. It's
so I can imagine it'll be one we'll be trying out on stream probably. You'll be streaming him.
Big time. And we talk about content when it comes to games like this now, and it has quite possibly the largest foot up against any possible competitor in the sense of they get content made for them in a way. Like if you just look at 2025, you've got Captain America film, you've got the Thunderbolts film, you've got Fantastic Four, you've got Daredevil. They can do a tie-in event to every single one of them shows that requires minimal effort. And it's just something for people to go, oh, the Daredevil show's on, I'm going to go play as Daredevil because there's a free Daredevil skin that I can get if I log a certain amount of hours. They've got so much that keeps them in the loop at all times that will hopefully, from their point of view, keep them relevant more easily.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we said when it was announced, it is going to live and die on if it's balanced well.
Absolutely.
So we can only wait and see.
Yep, 6th of December, we will be there, 100%. One I don't know if we'll be there for. I'm still on the fence. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. It is day one on Game Pass. 9th of December. Will either of you be there?
I am very much unsure. I love Indiana Jones. It's one of them like more niche franchises that I have a lot of fond memories with. And punching Nazis in the face is never not fun. But at the same time, at the same time, with the kind of political environment, I don't want to like. Maybe I want to save my Nazi punching for something a little bit more realistic, if you know what I mean. Like, I feel like if the world was in a better place right now, the notion of punching Nazis would be a lot more fun and a lot less, oh god, this is scary.
If only someone would bring a mod out for the game to reskin.
It's just.
It'll probably be there.
I mean,
it's a weird one.
I probably won't be on day one or anything. I'll probably keep an eye on it and see what.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll be doing. I think I'll be waiting for reviews. If it's 77 or higher, I'll check it out. If it's under 77, I'll probably give it a skip.
Okay, so when it gets to December 18th when you're next on and it's sat at an 83 and I ask you what your opinion of it is and you go, I haven't played it, I'm going to mock you.
Oh, just because I'll be playing it doesn't mean I'll be playing it straight away. It will join the ever backlog of games.
Bottom of the list.
Backlog.
But yeah, 9th of December, day one on Game Pass. I believe it's coming to PlayStation in March. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, all I know for sure is that it is going to.
It's going to be.
Yeah, all I know is it's definitely going to PlayStation. I don't know the exact date. But as someone who is Xbox first, I just want to go out on them and say I don't care about Xbox games being available to Pleystation gamers. If the game is good, I want it to be available to more people.
To everyone, yeah.
Yeah.
100%. One day, mate, there'll be all platforms day one.
I just want peace.
One day.
And then the Fire Nation attack.
Oh, wow, okay. Announcement, news, and updates. Got a bit carried away there. Con's excited.
I got so excited.
Yeah, I shouldn't really be excited for this one. So you've shut down Firewalk Studios following the catastrophic release of Concord. We spoke about it a couple of episodes ago now, following when the Concord, it was announced that the servers were going to be taken offline and the game was basically dead. It's peak, but we should have seen it coming because
it was
the gamers.
As soon as they said they're shutting the game down after like 6 days, this was inevitable. Like the studio has failed at what they were supposed to produce. Sony's not going to see any point. The bad press around them is like a studio like CD Projekt Red is established enough that they could come back from the bad press of Cyberpunk. This was a new studio with no like rep in the game that to try and bring this studio back from where it was, like publicly, people were never going to give him a chance.
Yeah, they were always going to be the studio that shipped Concord.
Exactly.
The big thing that sucks about this is the high level executives who made the decisions and agreed that ridiculous budget to make the game and all of that stuff are going to be the people who easily find new work. We know how it is. A lot of them guys who were earning the big money over there and made the decisions that inevitably made the game a failure are going to be the people who find work more easily. It's going to be the graphic designers and the people who actually made the game every day and wrote line after line of code and fucked with models and everything, and all the play testers that are more likely to struggle to find work because of the shape of the gaming industry right now.
I think yes and no. Like, yeah, I agree. The bottom tier devs and artists and stuff, it's shit for them. And like you said, the industry's in a shit position. Like, they're going to struggle to find work. The execs, I don't know. I think some of them, sure, they might find there's studios out there that probably won't care and they'll look past this. I think there's plenty of studios though with the press around it, that the culture these execs had put in place and how it was like bad. I think other studios will have seen that and will pay attention to that. And if they look at this like senior dev and is, oh, I worked on Concord, they're gonna be like, oh, there's plenty of other senior devs that we're just not even
haven't worked on Concord.
Like, similar to the lower end devs, there is also a lot of senior devs and stuff. Like, the whole games industry is diluted with talent and not enough spots, so they can just avoid, like, see Concord on a resume. They're just going to be like, well, we can get someone who hasn't been near that game and we know they're a safer bet. But yeah, points that people need to realize though is just because the studio shut down, the IP's not gone away. Like, Sony spent a lot of money on this IP just because it failed.
Time 8 years.
Just because
we're going to be seeing Concord in December with Next Level.
In Level Up.
Not Next Level, Secret Level.
Secret Level, yes. So like, there's chance this IP comes back and they try it again with a new studio. And
imagine a phoenix rising from the ashes that is Concord. 5, 6, 7 years, you get a Concord sequel. You got a bunch of kids like, this game is fucking lit. We're like, hold on.
Do you think the name is too tainted now?
No, never in video games, never.
Here's my thing. I think, depending, we're expecting Secret Level to do well, and I'm sure, I know me and Connor will get into it later in the pod, but like, if their episode is like really good and everyone's like, this was Concord and you made that, like, we want this Concord. Like, if they do a good enough job of selling the IP and selling the world, people will give another studio a chance, but they have like one more chance with it.
Yeah. Let me put it another way. The Borderlands movie is arguably the biggest flop of the decade.
Won't ruin the game though.
Even that film caused a massive spike in sales for the Borderlands games, despite being a horrific film. Enough people went, I wonder what the game's like, to cause a massive spike in game sales. Secret Level's Concord episode could genuinely do enough that you get a bunch of people who didn't even know about Concord, Google it, going, oh, this seems like this game wasn't really given a chance. And then you'll get like a little cult following that in 10 years when they release Concord 2 is like, finally vindication.
I think, well, Sony's put enough money in and they have enough money to throw it again that it wouldn't surprise me if this comes back in like 10 years or something.
And we will pretend we were lovers all along.
Yeah, I was there day one 10 years ago.
Well,
let's see if this fire burns brighter the second time.
It won't. I think it's dead in the water, but we'll have to wait and see. 10 years is a long time. One that you two are very much aware of. As per Vice, Daniel Casey, the writer for Fast and Furious 9, which I'll need you two to tell me if it's that any good because I'm not a Fast and Furious guy, is
I have opinions.
Executive producer for the Mass Effect Amazon Prime TV adaptation, which I love Mass Effect games. A lot of people do. Excited to see this one. Can you guys tell me about Fast 9?
I was very excited for Mass Effect as a TV show because I think it works really well. Until I saw that they got Fast and Furious. Anyone who's touched Fast and Furious with a barge pole should be banned from making anything that has any substance. Apart from Tokyo Drift.
I partly disagree with that because don't get me wrong, I'm sure he had a fair say in the writing of Fast 9. We also
what else has he
know
worked on?
who is the main person that runs that ship on Fast and Furious is Vin Diesel, who has a massive ego. Like, we know that whatever
he's
writers,
also worked on Critical Role.
whatever writer is in the Fast universe, they don't have 100% say on the story. Let's be honest. They're probably told these certain things need to be like happen with certain people getting the spotlight on them because they have egos. Fast 9 was, I mean, as ridiculous like it until Fast 10, which interesting story, happened to watch the other day. I actually say Fast 9 was slightly more ridiculous than Fast 10. It's just they brought people back from the dead. They've kind of broken old storylines and made plot holes, and they don't care for the story anymore with Fast and Furious. It's just action. That's just what the films are, unfortunately. I don't know if it's a bad thing.
I don't trust anyone who's been involved in the creative process of a Fast and Furious film to get the most out of the Mass Effect universe.
Yes, and it depends on many factors though with Mass Effect. It's like he's not going to be the only writer. Are there like people that made the games involved? Is this going to be like we saw Amazon do it with Fallout?
Yeah.
Like, have they got people that worked on that working on this who understand how to try? Like, one person's not going to ruin it. It's whether or not he's given full control, and then it's a bit like, is this in safe hands?
By what you've just described, it doesn't sound like it's in safe hands.
It's concerning that he's the name they want to throw out there as working on it. I think that's fair to say, at least.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the rest of the writers' room has a bit more
it'd be better off to find out
track record.
What's he had to say since Fast and Furious 9? Did he come out of that situation and be like, "Yeah, I don't want to do it. There's too many hands on the steering wheel or something like."
No, don't make a fucking driving pun right now. Bad horizontal, bad.
Oh, am I not allowed to make the puns? Only Connor can make the puns in the segues.
Love the segue. Although he did today. It's a very weak segue, if I must say so.
Yeah. Crack on.
But there's no, we got no date confirmed for Mass Effect, so I suppose we're just gonna have to keep our eyes peeled to see when it is gonna be ready. And the last bit of news is it broke a couple of days ago, I think. One that the consumerism in me is very much looking forward to. So Phil Spencer.
Phil Spencer.
We love him, the old Xbox goat himself. Phil Spencer has revealed that Microsoft are currently working on a handheld prototype. However, an actual console is still years away. Now, would that be something that either of you would be interested in?
The kid in me. Oh, go on.
I have been considering a handheld for a long time, and I'm stuck into what I need from it because I like the idea of a Steam Deck, but I know that also has issues with any game that requires a launcher, like a COD or a FIFA or anything like that. I know there's ways around it, and by the sounds of it, they're not too complicated. But then you've also got stuff like Neo Go's, which are like pretty fucking powerful for their size, and they can run like Game Pass a lot easier. And I already have a Game Pass subscription, so there's that. So the notion that Microsoft's going to bring out a device, and they're like, yeah, this is definitely going to work with Game Pass games, which would you'd hope then also work with stuff like FIFA and Madden, which comes through EA Play. I'm like, depending on when that launches and my position at the time, that might be literally exactly what I want a handheld to be. I didn't realise Phil Spencer had actually confirmed this, so I'd seen a lot of rumours, but I hadn't realised Phil Spencer had confirmed it, which has just made it a lot more real to me and very exciting.
Still years away, mate.
I don't care, I'll be excited now. Just like I'm
mean,
excited for the next remaster of The Last of Us.
The kid in me is like, oh yes, finally an Xbox handheld. After all the years of the Xbox portable meme renders that flew around the internet with the 720 Xbox.
Classic. What time to be alive that was.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me that they're finally working on it, especially like Con was saying with the Steam Deck. I don't know if I'd get an Xbox handheld. I don't play consoles anymore. Obviously, I sometimes pick up Game Pass, but most of the time I play Steam games. So if I was to get a handheld, it would probably be a Steam Deck, or I'm gonna get like one of those retro like Game Boy emulator ones. I really want one of them. So it's like, I don't think I would get the Xbox handheld, but you never know, in a few years maybe I will when it actually comes out.
The interesting thing's going to be like how locked down a system it is, because at their core, Xbox machines at this point are Windows 10 machines. Like they are at their core so similar that people with with not too much jiggery pokery can get like a Series X running as a PC. So if they end up being top tier hardware and they actually relax a little so it's not so strict and they make like a dual boot mode available, this device could do incredibly well. If they decide to just keep it very much as an Xbox device, it can still do well, but I think it kind of limits themselves a little bit.
It'd be interesting to see if they go Steam Deck route of handheld, like that sort of form factor, or if they do something like the Switch where it can dock and be both. Like maybe that's where the Xbox console goes next.
That would make a fuck ton of money. Kind of get rid of like the Series S, which is that mid tier, and go, right, you've got our premium bad boy, and then our mid-range tier is just more versatile in general. It's got the dock, it's got the handheld mode, it's got everything, and it's a more reasonable price. It's definitely an option.
It could also
be
just
interested to see. Go on, Harry.
Well, the thing with the Amazon Fire Stick, they could very easily have it be a handheld that also then can connect with that if you've got that on your TV, and that is just the controller for it. Like, they could make a system that essentially doesn't need a console box.
I mean, that's definitely in their plans. You can, I mean, even as recently as about 2 hours before recording, they launched their new advertising campaign, which is this is an Xbox, and it goes through an Iron Neo and an Xbox and a laptop and a PC and a Fire Stick. Because Xbox's motto for about 5 years, although we didn't believe it for a long time, was we just want everyone to be able to play our games. And they're actually now starting to put like their money where their mouth is and go, yeah, cloud gaming, we've invested a fuck ton in it. Xbox games on PlayStation. They're still working on a deal with Nintendo to bring some Xbox games to Nintendo devices, aren't they? They're working on just like getting their games as far and wide. And a lot of people get concerned that means they don't want to do hardware anymore. But I think their goal is actually we're going to focus on getting games to everyone, so that no matter what kind of gamer you are, we then know that we've got players there who would buy our hardware.
Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, some Samsung newer TVs have Game Pass in them, and you can just connect your
That's fucking awesome.
controller. It's obviously all cloud based, but I'm pretty sure
it's the new Samsung smart TVs, which is like all they need to do is get the Game Pass app onto like Chromecast, another big TV brand, and it's basically in every home.
And it also, like, as opposed to other things, I'm not concerned that because they make their own handheld, that something like, again, like the Neo Go, which I know a lot of people who focus more on Xbox use instead, they won't stop supporting that either. Which means if they release a garbage product, we've still got another way to play Xbox games on the go. So overall, I think this is a great discussion, a great product idea conceptually, and hopefully, as long as they just take their time to make sure it's worth making, it will do pretty well.
I think if
Don't
Phil
want a
Spencer's,
PlayStation Portal.
Can't disagree more.
if Phil Spencer's
my board.
listening, he should make the dock for the handheld the 720 ball.
What a
Model.
massive circle in a
Yeah,
world
just
where
the
everyone
ball.
wants their text smaller.
It's
Okay.
You
spherical.
want a massive spherical thing.
Don't care.
Ugh.
Spherical and it just slots in the front.
That would be
What I
sexy.
don't want is a controller that's cut in half with a screen mashed in the middle of it. I don't know who thought that was a good idea ever for anything.
Yeah, but the shape of the 360 controller is good in the hands, so that just
True. True. Well, I mean, that's going to be years away yet, so
Yeah.
we're going to have to keep our eyes out. What isn't years away is the game that we have already been playing.
nice.
Can't I'm making up for your poor segue earlier.
Nice.
I'll open the floor to you both. What have you been playing recently? What have you been enjoying?
I mean-
not enjoying.
We've all been playing the fuck out of the new Pokemon Pocket game.
Which will be the topic of this
Yeah.
podcast today.
We've been playing that so much we had to create a separate channel in the Discord so that we could like still have a normal conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely with that went through the ringer for like a week. Because
Yeah, you were in your depths for a minute there.
for the people that are playing it, know there's a Lapras event on, and it took me 14 promo packs before I got my first Lapras. Meanwhile, Josh had had 4 by that
I think
point.
I got
3?
I think I got 3 in my first 6 packs. I want
Yeah,
to say.
it was like-
Diabolical.
I was losing my mind, but yeah, we've all been playing the shit out of that. What else
Big
have
one
we
for me, ironically, completely separately before we even knew the Pokemon, or I even knew the Pokemon game was happening, I've been playing a lot of the TCG Card Shop Simulator.
Yep, seen
Which-
the videos.
Having a
Pretty
fucking
sure there's a
blast for that
Pokemon
game.
mod for that.
Yeah, there is. That's a great way for my videos to get destroyed by Nintendo. I'm pretty sure if I tried to upload a video of that Pokemon
Why?
mod on
Just
it,
say it's Power World.
someone from Nintendo would kick my front door in and put a bullet in my head.
Just say it's
Nintendo
Power
don't
World.
fuck around with their IP. Now, Power World mod for it, I'd be down with. But yeah, ironically, which is no one's going to believe after them being the 2 games I'm playing the most at the minute, I'm not a trading card dude.
You are now.
Because I've always been like, no, it's cardboard. You've got to protect them so much; it will stress me out. I can't do it. So having a virtual way to scratch that part of my brain that would like it is actually mint. I'm loving it so much. And then of course, COD, because I'm still like a 20-year-old white dude. So what else would I play?
I love the way that you said you didn't want to collect cardboard and you've got to keep them nice while you've got some good comics behind you in there.
Yeah, I don't need more things to stress me out.
No, that's valid.
I mean, I'd been playing Throne and Liberty. I still was playing that for a fair bit. I got to endgame where it was enjoyable and there was plenty to do. It slowed, like all MMOs, it slows down to just like your daily grinds. They had a fun Halloween event, I will say, where they even added in a Halloween dungeon that you could do.
Okay,
which had
creepy.
some fun little mechanics. One where you get turned into a pumpkin and have to roll your way down an obstacle course, like corridor, while dodging like.
Sure, a nightmare like that once.
But like fun Halloween content. Then out of kind of, I knew this was on the horizon, but I wasn't expecting it till next year, is Brighter Shores, which for the people in the MMO space will have heard about. For people that love RuneScape will definitely know about, because it's by the original founder of Jagex and RuneScape, one of the brothers. They obviously eventually sold RuneScape on. I would say old school RuneScape as it's now known, but like when I was playing it was just RuneScape. Was the
Forget it, you're old.
first PC game along with like Club Penguin.
The true
What a
goat,
contrast
by the way.
of games.
The true goat, by the way, Club Penguin.
Contrast of MMO games. But like, I played the shit out of RuneScape back then. So like, when I heard he didn't make anything for ages, and then he just got, people were like asking him apparently like, are you gonna make another game, whatever. This started as a passion project. There's like 8 devs on it, and then people obviously got wind that he'd been making this game, and then pestered him for early access, so he dropped it in early access. It's a lot of fun. It's, if you like RuneScape, you will most likely enjoy this. It's like RuneScape, it's very skill heavy. So all your like cooking, wood cutting, all those sorts of skills, there's a lot of grind to that. They link into quests. You need to be like certain levels and things to do quests.
To be happy, you just need the ability to chop down virtual trees, don't you?
I've realized
that's all you need.
All I need in an MMO is skills like wood cutting, cooking, and all that, like New World had. Just give me that. Give me a max level to grind to, and I'm happy. I already hit 50, which is like the first cape. The max level's 500. The fun way they've done, like at RuneScape, there were skill capes when you hit 99. This is like tiered, and each tier like adds an extra bit onto the bottom of your cape, so it gets like fancier.
Dude's doing a camo grind in an MMO.
Pretty much. But it's really cool because there's not servers. It's got what seems to be the trend in MMOs at the moment, like server meshing, where essentially they try to blend all the servers into like, you just feel like you're in one. So the map's split into like cubes, and every time you go into a new one, you're just in there with a bunch of players. There's no load times. It's seamless, but like, you're constantly surrounded by people by that way. Like it never feels dead like some MMO servers can end up being. It's a lot of fun. They've been pumping out like quality of life updates literally every day, which has been really cool. The community's loving because like lots of small things that community like, oh, we can't click on the map to move. Day later, there's an update, and then another day later, like it's tweaked. That like, it's been really good in that sense. It got very mixed reviews on launch day. Because I think people didn't understand the mechanic. So,
is this one of the ones where gamers are getting angry at stuff when they've just like not bothered to work
like,
out what's going on?
5 hours of game time, and like basically, it's the areas are called episodes because it's quite story based. When you get into the next zone, it was called like episode 2, and the next zone came with a new set of skills. And your skills are tied to a zone that you're in, which is cool because when you got into the forest, you get the woodcutting skills and carpentry, but you got a new combat skill and you got a new like gathering skill, which people were like, why have you just reset me to 0? But not realizing, and I get that, you walk into this new zone, you've got new skills, none of your other ones are useful in this zone, you're back at 0, but actually, it helps with the issue of like in MMOs where you get to like end game, you're in the high level zones. You never go back to the starting zone, which then just makes that zone dead after a few years when there's not really new players coming in. So you have a reason to be going back to each zone. Also, as you get further in, you need to have levels in different zones for certain items, craftables. So they start blending, but obviously you don't see that straight away. And one way
as always, gamers being impatient.
Yeah, and obviously this was very quickly fixed, but like you went into the new zone and the level it displayed was for that zone, so everyone was like, I'm back at 0. They've changed it now to show your max level, which I think is better. So it's actually it went from mixed, it's now mostly positive, I think now, because they've been quick with updates. So I've been playing the shit out of that. I've got like 80 hours in it in a week.
Is that free to play?
Yeah, I was about to say that. What's the script? Is it free?
So there's free to play. There's 4 episodes, but the episode 3 and 4 zones are like a subscription. Similar model to RuneScape. Like a good chunk of the map is a free to play area. You can do plenty. And then there was like the subscription areas. I imagine as the game's expanded, I'll be interested to see if it's like the next 2 zones come out or something, and they're the people that are subbed get them first, and then the people that are free get the 2 that they didn't have. Yeah, or if it'll be like each side kind of expands. Like there's a free play zone and another. I don't know how it's not really
A
said.
free island and a rich island.
Well, because it's like the map split into these like chunks. You could just like, oh, the path for the free people goes this way, and the other like the paid area is growing over here. Like I don't. He hasn't said how they're gonna do that yet, but I think the subscription's similar to like RuneScape. It's like £4 a month for an MMO. That's pretty cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're going to be putting a lot of hours into it, you value for money, so.
But I'm enjoying it. It's if you like RuneScape, you'll probably like it. That's kind of taking
There
all
you
my
go.
time.
Go find horizontal and chop some trees down with them.
What surprise.
What have you been playing, Josh?
I've been playing a range of different things at the minute. Like you say, Pokemon, which, funny enough, 1 minute ago, I have a booster pack ready to open. I'll be doing that after, don't worry.
Do it live,
finally...
do it live, do it live. Let's see what you pull. Come on. Big bucks, no worries.
Here we go then.
If you don't pull full art right now, you've choked.
I'll continue talking as this loads up. I finally platinumed Plucky Squire the other day. As
Awesome.
my rant from last month, I had a great game-breaking bug in which I couldn't physically progress because of something that happened. I had to wait for the bug to come out. Finished the game when the patch came out. Got all the collectibles the other day. I gave the game, I think, a 5 out of 10 on my spreadsheet. The premise of the game being able to flip between 2D and 3D is really fun. It's just the execution wasn't there. The story wasn't that great. I compare it to other games like Tinykin, which I enjoyed my time with a lot more, which reflects in the score, which obviously isn't ideal. Would you boys like me to open a Charizard, Pikachu, or Mewtwo pack?
Mewtwo, come on. Big bucks, no worries. I want to send Mewtwo full art EX
you
right
don't
now.
have like set packs you're currently trying to open for set cards?
Well, I
rotate
do,
every day.
For the sake of the video, tell me when to stop.
That
one?
Yeah.
For a bit. This isn't going to focus, is it?
Oh, it's an egg.
Is there anything in there? There's something at the back. You ready?
Slowpoke.
Ghastly.
Oh, a new
card, big bucks.
for the decks and a Ditto.
Ditto.
I mean, I'll take it. A Ditto,
You'll take a new
and a
card after
Kingler,
a
and a
week,
new card that I don't have yet.
Do you want me to ruin all of your superstitions about the whole
on.
pack picking?
Go on.
Is the pack not decided until you click on one?
No, all the packs are identical. Like when you pick, and as soon as the carousel starts, all of them are identical. No matter which one you pick, you'll get the same set of cards.
It's nice feeling in your head that you might get something different.
Yeah. I also only ever open reverse, so I see the backs of the cards first.
Do you know what I do? I hit the skip in the bottom right, and I swipe it straight away.
Oh no, you're ruining all of your dopamine.
No, because I used to do the whole fucking thing, and now I'm just like, that doesn't matter to me. Just
I like teasing myself.
Yeah.
Peeking back to the side, see if there's a hollow or a psych at the back. I love it.
Yeah.
Do you know how people realized that was the case? Because you know on the Wonder Picks, it shows like what your friends got. The mate on the carousel of the packs, it already showed his Wonder Pick to his other friend.
I've got some serious beef with the Wonder Picks. My brother opened 2 back-to-back packs that had.
I thought you knew how they worked.
Yeah, no, 1 sec. That has like, you know, the cards that have like the hidden animations. Right, going into the card. So he opened back-to-back packs that had the Pikachu and the Charizard. His Wonder Pick was the 3rd pack he opened that had nothing in it.
Oofed.
He sent me both of them. I go straight to the Wonder Picks, and the only pack in there is something that's just got dog shit cards. I was fuming. But yes, I've absolutely mastered my Wonder Picks. I always get what I want now.
I don't think that's how it works, mate.
I promise you, I have gamed the system.
I always
get my Wonder Pick.
I also always pick the same one. Top middle.
Yeah, top left every time.
I was doing that for a while. It's a fool's game. I noticed the patterns.
No.
Tism go burr.
There is no patterns there. But yeah, apart from Pokemon, Life is Strange, like I discussed, played a couple of episodes of that. I do need to carry on. It's one that I like to play at night rather than during the day. I don't know if that resonates with anyone, but preferring to play games at certain times of the day.
I don't play games during the day because I work, so.
Yeah, valid. And COD. It's my first COD in a couple of years. I think I didn't
Ever.
play last year. Not ever.
Yeah, you were on MW2, weren't you?
I think so.
Yeah. We played some MW2 together.
There you go. Didn't play last year. I wasn't sure if I was going to get it this year. I have Game Pass. The only reason I checked it out, I probably wouldn't have paid full price for the game. Enjoying my time with it at the minute, actually. Complete both Easter eggs for the 2 zombies maps. Got the cool calling cards to say that you've done them before a certain time. I can't remember what it was.
God, it must be easy,
today.
then.
Is it today? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's toxic. So got those. Enjoying camo grinds at the minute. I've got diamond, melee weapons, launchers, and shotguns. Obviously, they're the fairly easier ones with the least weapons in their class. But enjoying it so far. The maps are to be desired. They're not the best. I've been playing a lot of Nuketown 24/7 and
I think everyone
Stakeout
has.
24/7, I believe it is.
Yeah.
A couple of the maps, the regular maps, I'm really not a fan of. So I'm hoping to see what they can do, what's going to be in the competitive map pool, etc. But the actual gameplay, I'm really enjoying. The guns feel nice, movement feels nice. Spawns on some of the maps can be a bit ropey, but apart from that, I'm enjoying my time with it.
Yeah. It's one of them ones where I look at the core of this game. I'm just like, just give us the best year of maps you've got left in you, and this game is an all-timer. But yeah, it's one of them ones now where the ethos of COD maps hasn't changed, but the game has changed so much from like Black Ops 2 that even remastering old maps doesn't work as well anymore, because we've got a game now where there's like 3 different levels of sprint and you can dive around corners and like fucking butt bounce downstairs and shit. And they're remastering maps where it was literally just run or walk and that was it.
I mean, I watched Optic do the race for like a week, and all they said all week was the maps are just the everything else feels great, the maps are bad.
Yeah, I think that's the general consensus all around at the minute. We'll have to wait and see what they do with that. Yeah, apart from that, I don't think I've really been playing much else. So there's a couple of games I'm looking forward to. I've still got so much on the backlog that as to when I'm going to get to it, I have no idea.
Oh no, I've got too many games to play. My diamond shoes are
it.
too tight. My house is too big. I'm just too jacked and rich.
I am. Let me think. None of the above. But no, COD and Pokemon's got me hooked at the minute. And speaking of Pokemon, that is our discussion / topic of the pod today. With the statement, can Pokemon TCG Pocket be as successful as Pokemon Go or Marvel Snap? Obviously, Marvel Snap's probably its direct competitor in the sense that they're the same type of thing. Pokemon Go, obviously, same IP, totally different game.
Global phenomenon.
Yeah, we can break down versus Pokemon Go and versus Marvel Snap. We'll start with Pokemon Go. Like you say, that I personally don't think it will ever be as big as that. This is much more niche. I think this is much more niche. Obviously, it's got the cool side of collecting, but the main thing is you're supposed to be battling it like the actual TCG. Pokemon Go was for everyone. Get you out the house. It dropped in summer. Everyone you knew and their dog was about playing. People who didn't even know what Pokemon was were downloading just to get involved. I don't think this has got the same hit.
I don't think it's got the same peak of like that drop, because I literally remember when it dropped. I was in the middle of doing NCS. I don't know if anyone, there's probably people there who've just had a vicious flashback to NCS.
PTSD. Yeah.
And we were up visiting Loughborough at the time, and someone had a New Zealand iTunes account for whatever reason, which meant they already had access to it, so they were logging into everyone else's phone so they could download it so that we could all play it early.
Me and my mate made a new iTunes for America.
Yeah,
we
so I completely agree. It won't have like that kind of like, wow, everyone in the fucking world is playing this. But I think as a game and like the measures of success of a game, of how well does it make money, how long does it survive and stuff, this is great. Anyone who collects Pokemon cards already will be on this. A lot of people who enjoyed Pokemon Go are going to go, wait, Pokemon, but I don't have to walk anymore. Yes, please.
I mean, yeah,
I think it's going to be massive.
I remember Pokemon Go because I was on the flight back from Greece on a lad's holiday, and as we landed back in the UK, we were all furiously downloading it. And then on the train from the airport, we were trying to we'd see one appear, and obviously we're going too fast.
To click on it, yeah.
And it's like we're there trying to catch our first Pokemon on a train. It was not good, but I agree. I don't think it peaks as high as Pokemon Go, but I think it outlasts how long Pokemon Go lasted. Just because it's so close to actually collecting the Pokemon cards, but essentially it gives people that like us that used to have Pokemon cards as kids, but probably didn't spend loads of money. It was just we got the odd booster pack here and there off our parents. It's like we know nowadays how much money you have to spend to collect Pokemon cards. This for me, I'm having fun collecting Pokemon cards and I don't have to spend anything. It scratches that nostalgia itch there. And I think with the battles and everything being how normal people play, they'll have fun with it and it'll last. I think you won't get the same kind of cultural shift that Pokemon Go had where everyone was out trying to there'd be word of a certain Pokemon in a certain place and people would flood there.
I remember just seeing people run through parks because a Charizard is there.
Yeah.
I was there.
I was also, me and my mates went, there's a dual carriageway on the outskirts of Preston where I live, and we were in two separate cars and we pulled over because there was a field next to it where a Cypher had appeared. And this was 11 o'clock at night. There's no cars around. We pulled over and put our hazards on, hopped into the field and went and caught a Pokemon, got back in the cars.
Brand was real.
I don't think that will ever be reached again.
No, that was a whole other level.
I do think it will be a successful game. I mean, the downloads and the money it's made already is proving that.
Nintendo once again printing money.
And I think in comparison to Marvel Snap, I think it overtakes Marvel Snap. Pokemon is just such a strong
the
brand.
battle of the big IPs.
It absolutely destroys Marvel Snap. What I will say is Marvel Snap is an incredibly well-rounded game. I think its collection system is a lot more enjoyable because you personally upgrade your cards, which feels nicer. But you do also then lose out on the dopamine hit of pulling a full art, which is gonna... The first time you pull a full art, you're addicted. I think the battle system is both... The Marvel Snap battle system is simpler to learn, harder to master. And I think that curve, for people who want more of a battle style, suits them people more. I think if you want one of these games to play as a versus kind of game, Marvel Snap is more your speed. If you want to open packs and collect the pretty things and do a little bit of battling, Pokemon Go is definitely Pokemon TCG Pocket is definitely the way to go.
Yeah,
I mean it's a pretty good point. I've wanted to dip my toes into the TCG space for a while. My mate plays Magic on a weekly basis. He goes to his local comic shop and plays every week, and I've always had that itch. I went to Comic-Con last month and I actually bought a Disney Lorcana booster set, the starter pack, waiting for an online version to come into play because I've not quite got the balls to go and play it at a local just yet. But I've wanted to dabble for a while.
There is a few Magic the Gathering games. I can't remember what they're called because I've played a couple in the past with my mates where you can build a deck and actually play it. But yeah, it scratches that itch of wanting to there's part of me I used to collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards and if I had money I'd be throwing it at them again.
Me and my brother had so many Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I dread to think how much value we destroyed by just not caring about them. I
Same with me
dread to
with
think.
Pokemon. Yeah,
here's
I
my
probably
thing.
had a first edition multiple, and they just got destroyed.
I don't
because
know
was a child.
where half of mine went. Like, I only have like that many, and I used to have like a stack. Also, I know, and this is something I hate myself for. In primary school, it was like when Yu-Gi-Oh took off, and I was like, oh, that shift
Maybe
from
for you.
Pokemon. All right, that shift from Pokemon to Yu-Gi-Oh, because it was like the new thing, like the older, like past Pokemon now, we're onto Yu-Gi-Oh because that's the new cool thing. I traded like some younger kid had Yu-Gi-Oh cards, didn't want them, wanted Pokemon cards, and he had something really cool, and I just traded him a fat chunk of Pokemon cards I didn't care for what, like 2 Yu-Gi-Oh cards that in my head I was like, oh, this is a great deal because like these are really good.
Yu-Gi-Oh's the future.
I have no, well, it's not like a bad thing to go Yu-Gi-Oh, but like I have no idea why I gave away in that Pokemon. Like, I don't have any Pokemon cards left to show for it, but this scratches that itch without me having to spend any money. So this is great.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And it will also absolutely lead to a lot of people like ourselves who just want to scratch that itch. Then go, you know what? I've dipped my toe. I'm going to start buying cards. And then they've got you twice and they're going to make a fuck ton of money. Just so they
It
can
feels
sue
like,
tiny little
obviously,
companies.
you've been playing it. It feels like it's come at a good time because TCG Sim, a lot of big streamers have been playing that. The views, the numbers.
I wouldn't call myself big, but thank you.
The numbers that game's been doing on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok. So it's sort of dropped at the perfect time because anyone who sees the letters TCG, if oh, I'm intrigued by that. Let me click on it, get it downloaded.
Absolutely.
Little before they know it, they've bought the battle pass, and they've subbed each month.
Battle Pass.
But yeah, I think Marvel Snap is huge, and it's still getting like weekly support, to my best knowledge.
Yeah. No, Marvel Snap gets updates almost daily with stuff. It's fucking ridiculous.
So I think it has definitely potential to go on par with that. I don't think it will overtake Pokemon Go myself. But we'll have to wait and see. I subscribe to because you get the
2-week free
battle
trial.
pass for 2 weeks. I think that's actually worn off now from the time that we're recording.
Yeah, mine's run out today.
They they lure you in like the thought, just one extra pack a day. Am I going to be paying a monthly fee? They've got me by the balls.
Not when it's like £8 a month. I was like, no.
Oh yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, if it's less than like £3, they might have a winner. But £8 is
didn't. Yeah, that's
delusional.
outrageous. Quiz time.
Oh my god, I'm gonna stomp her into the fucking ground.
I suppose there's no need to.
Let's get up my scores from last time on my phone.
So last
Winners
month
win,
was
motherfucker.
Halloween. We done
Yes, it was.
a scary game. Next month's quiz, as I said last episode, is going to be a big fat quiz of the year style, in the sense of it's going to be.
Don't say that, Christ! He's going to get his copyright struck.
So who's my comedian partner then?
In the sense of it's going to be wrapping up. The quiz is going to be tugged to everything that happened in the video game space this year.
You're tugging into video game space? What?
This year, this month, I thought I'd mix it up a little bit. I'm going to be showing you 10 pictures, and these pictures are...
These the ones you sent me last night?
Those are the secret photos in that folder. These are video game characters who aren't the main character, and you have got to tell me which game they are from.
Okay.
There are 10. I've got them all on my iPad. I'm literally going to be showing it up to the screen, giving you 10, 15 seconds each. You can deliberate. You can write them down. We got 10 of them. Some of them, I tried to mix it up. I didn't want to. Some weeks I feel like the questions can be too easy, too hard. Like, I know that neither of you are sort of in that space of the type of game, so I've tried to do some general ones that I think you'll know. A couple maybe a little bit on the outskirts. So let me get my iPad ready.
I'm on 9
so ready to try to...
so far is my total score.
Predictions. What do we think we're going to be getting out of 10? How's your
out of 10?
video game side character
I'm lucky,
knowledge?
2.
I'm aiming for 50% and above.
Okay, respectable. Right, are you both ready for question one?
Yeah,
Sure.
boy.
Feature one, should I say? Here we go.
Oh Christ. Okay. I've got a feeling a lot of my guesses are going to be based more on art style than anything else.
Yep, valid. I mean,
What the fuck?
you can
We just
see
have to get the
pictures.
franchise right. We don't need the character name.
Yeah, don't need the character. You just need the game.
Okay, cool. I'm ready to guess.
I have a guess.
I can't think of how we've done it in the past. Have we just gone through all of them and done answers at the end, or have we done the
No,
answer
we
as
answer.
we've gone
We
along?
You do answer each
everyone
time.
as we go. Answer as we
Okay.
go.
I'm not
Rory, you go
confident.
first.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, Horry, what have you put down? Because Con seemed pretty confident.
Ratchet and Clank.
I have also guessed Ratchet and Clank.
Oh.
That art style is giving Ratchet and Clank.
So this was one of my if you've played it, you know. So this is Daxter from Jack and Daxter.
Oh,
which
that
is
style is so
which is
similar.
like the equivalent of Ratchet and Clank. It's like they were like same era, same type of game, but that
He chose the beta version of Ratchet and Clank.
well because I
like-
didn't want to. I thought putting Clank down would have been too obvious, and I didn't want to do it. So I put,
You say that,
Daxter.
but this is me.
Yeah, valid.
That was
People
an
in the comments.
That
Put
art
down
style
your
was
scores below.
massively giving Ratchet and Clank.
It's the same era, mate.
I nearly guessed Crash Bandicoot 2, like the newer one.
No,
But I
no.
was
If it was
like-
Crash, I would have got it. Say that. He's
Right.
going to
Recognise
pull
the
up a Crash character now. No, I'm going to get it wrong.
Question 2, or picture 2. Are we ready?
Ooh.
Oh, I've locked my iPad. Technically,
That's me!
I know there is
Oh,
a
I know
glare
that.
on the
Oh.
screen.
Lock it in. Lock it in.
Oh, so much confidence.
Yeah,
Even
boy.
Horry seemed confident, which he's saying so.
Shit, I think I know which one it is.
Woo.
Okay,
Right, you
I'm
both seem
pretty happy.
confident.
Yeah.
Horry, we'll go with you first because you was more on the fence than Con was.
God of War Ragnarok.
It is God of War Ragnarok.
I mean, he's technically in both of the games. So I'll give you that. That is Mimir from God of War because he's like that specific picture's from the first game, but then he's in the second
See,
game.
I wasn't
so-
sure if it was from like the second one.
Because he's just the head in the second game, isn't he? That makes quips from your ass.
Spoiler alert! No, the game came out years ago. Yeah, he is. He gets his head chopped off in the first game. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. You both get a point.
Yeah. Sweet. I got one.
Right, here we go. This one you're going to be livid with.
Oh.
I wanted to put in because it's one of my favorite game franchises.
Oh.
I'd get it in.
Life is Strange.
I have locked my iPad again like a donut.
Oh, you're good at this, aren't you?
Right, are
Old
we ready?
people and technology,
Production.
folks. Yeah.
Production levels. Here we go.
Oh, Christ.
Wait.
We can see the porn on your screen, Josh.
Yeah, I mean,
Why do
the
I
production
recognize?
levels aren't that.
Why do I
So
recognize this person? Fuck.
In my head, I thought Hori would have more chance than Con to get this.
Oh,
one.
okay. So you're starting to rig it now to try and give Rory a chance. That's crazy.
Oh,
No,
he
but
says that,
there's
but-
other ones, Con, where I've included
Okay,
it. I think you might.
I have a guess. I'm not confident with it, and I'm stuck
Give you
between
one,
two.
one
But I have a
last
guess.
showing. It's one that like if you've played, you'll know. If you haven't, you might know.
Okay,
Put down the scores.
I have a guess.
Okay, we'll start with you, Lincoln, because Hori's still on the fence.
Well, I don't want to give him an answer.
I've got my
He's written
answer.
something down. He's written it
Okay.
down.
So in my head, what I'm trying to decide between is Alan Wake and Silent Hill. I'm gonna go Silent Hill.
And Hori?
I went Mass Effect.
The art styles aren't like too dissimilar, I'd say, to Mass Effect. Silent Hill 2, I think they're a bit more pointy, like the original. This is Alex Vance from Half-Life. The reason I thought
Oh, you fucking
the reason I thought
nerd.
Hori might
That's
get it
why I
was obviously
recognize it.
yeah,
I only had a PC since like 2022, and you're putting fucking Half-Life
well, jokes on
characters
you
on
because
there.
Orange Box was on Xbox.
It was. But
So
That's why I
thought,
was like,
in my head, I was thinking, has Hori played Half-Life? He's a
Yeah,
PC gamer.
but-
He must have played Half-Life. That was one that I thought was
Do you know
one
what
of
it
the.
is?
That's probably the trickiest one of the lot, in my opinion.
Now you've said that, I'm like, oh, I know I recognize that so well because I played so much Gary's mod, and that model's in there. Oh, fuck.
Right. Picture 4. Are we ready?
Hmm.
One
Yeah.
that could be quite easy, might not be.
Oh,
Again, obviously, my iPad reflection's not doing it much justice for the pod notes in the background. I did have to move the answers from this screen to my other screen so that you did see them in a reflection.
I mean, I have an answer, but I'm not confident with it.
Same.
I'm definitely being baited by a particular characteristic here. This is a bad answer. I'm going to get rinsed for this answer. I can feel it, but it's all I've got.
I don't think I'm right, but
Yeah.
Gone?
I think, and I know I'm wrong, but it's all I've got. I think it's Lilith from Borderlands. But I don't think she counts as a side character.
I've put Witcher 3.
Oh, you're probably fucking right there.
He is right. That is Triss
Yeah.
Merigold from Witcher 3. The red hair.
Yeah.
I was looking at the strappings on it. I'm like, is that post-apocalyptic bullshit or is that like period piece?
I was
Son of a
like-
bitch.
Period.
I'm pretty sure this is Witcher and not like Skyrim or something.
I wanted to
getting-
do a Witcher one, and then it was just a decision of do I pick Triss, Yennefer, or Ciri? I typed in Witcher 3 and Triss was the first one to come up, so I was like, there we go, I'm taking it.
I
I'd
think
have
that was
better
the
luck with
harder
Roach, I
choice. If you'd picked Yennefer and stuff, it's like more obvious. than
I
that is.
I thought Ciri was a bit too easy, like the white, grey,
Yeah.
silvery hair, giving it away a little bit. Question 5.
Hori's winning. This is terrible news.
Picture 5, are we ready?
Yeah. Lock it in. I'll tell you the game.
I had a feeling this might this might be a fairly.
Oh my god, my brain's
quick
just
one.
blanked on what I was going to say.
He
Oh.
will grab this. He will remember it. He definitely will. There's no way Hori chokes this one. He knows this one. I know he does.
I threw this one in there thinking both of you knew the answer.
Can I get a bonus point if I tell you his name?
No, you can.
I
Just
might
do it
choke
for,
this. I don't know.
You can have a flex point for it. You won't get any actual points.
Okay, cool. I'll take a flex point.
Hori?
Fallout.
That is Nick Valentine from Fallout 4.
You can both have a point. Can you get the flex point? That is indeed.
Yeah,
I
the guy's
have-
name.
I have
You-
400 plus hours in Fallout
the thing.
4. I knew that man instantly.
I was a Skyrim kid, not a Fallout kid.
Yeah, you fucking nerd.
I'm not a Fallout guy either. Like, I
Fallout's the
knew
goat.
him, but yeah, love it. Right. So you both got that one right.
Yeah. Still down by a point. Ruh-roh.
A very famous one here coming up for question
Oh,
6.
Oh, don't say that. Oh no, what is this waifu shit? I don't know. I mean, I'll take a punt at the franchise, but I'm not confident in the slightest.
Pretty certain.
Oh no. Oh no. I guess that means it's me to go first.
Yeah, it will be.
Final Fantasy?
I
I
said
have a
Final
number?
Fantasy.
Hori
Oh,
didn't have to say Fallout
Yeah.
4. I'm not
I
giving
knew
you
you
a
was going to
number.
nibble at that.
You can
I mean,
fuck right
I-
off.
Can I give a number for a bonus point?
You can do it for a flex point. You don't have
Yeah,
a
you
bonus
can do
point.
a flex point.
Final Fantasy 13.
Don, do you want to throw out a number for a flex point, even though it would be a guess?
7 remastered.
It is 7.
Yeah.
That is Tifa from Final Fantasy 7.
I knew, I instantly knew it was Final Fantasy. They all blend together.
I've really got to be honest. My logic was it's an Asian character and Josh is very white. This is going to be Final Fantasy.
She's also the one that is often cosplayed because she
Yeah,
looks
it's like
hot.
the most. Yeah, it's one of the most recognisable.
Right, I'm still down by a point here, but I do have 2 flex points. How many flex points for a bonus point?
0.
What's the conversion
0.
rate?
We ready for question 7?
Yep. Oh, fuck.
Okay, I have a guess.
Yeah.
Mm,
Trying to get it so the light's not shining.
I've got 3.
I mean, you need to pick one. Let me know
Okay.
if you need an extra look before locking in your answer.
No.
God, it's wild that
We-
I've been more confident than Connor with some of these.
Come, we will be starting with you, seeing as Horry seems fairly confident.
So I'm going to talk through what I've narrowed
Oh,
it down
yeah, here
to
we go.
here.
That old chestnut.
Trying to get
I
a point for
think-
the working out.
No. The mate, the math prep will never go away. So it's giving like Mass Effect, Halo, Destiny kind of vibes. I know enough Destiny side characters to be confident it's not one of them, and I also don't think
Are you
you've
sure
played enough
about that?
Destiny to choose a Destiny character. I've not played a lot of Mass Effect, so I'm going Mass Effect because I feel like again, while it's Halo-ish, it's not very Halo. So I think Mass Effect is my best guess, but I'm not happy with it.
I also
And
have
Horry?
Mass Effect.
That's because Mass Effect is the correct answer.
Oh, the logic doesn't fail me.
Do you know what's funny? Because obviously I guessed Mass Effect earlier. As soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, that's Mass Effect.
Right, who do we reckon is going to be playing Garrus Vakarian in the show?
Honestly, with a jawline like that, it's got to be Horry.
He didn't have a beard, though, and I refused to shave.
Right, we've only got 3 left.
Oh,
Oh, I'm
smashing
down
it
by
this
a
week.
point.
Are
About
we
time.
ready for question 8?
Yeah. Lock it in. I know it.
Oh,
Me and Horry both know this. This
Yeah,
is a crazy
This
one.
was
to put
like,
in.
that's why I wanted to make sure that neither of you dropped the donut. That is literally why it was in.
Cyberpunk.
Do I want to go through a bonus point here? Do I know his full name?
Oh, I don't know his name.
I can give you his last name. I can't remember his first.
Go on in.
It's Eurodyne, and it is Cyberpunk 2077. The Goat.
Harry Eurodyne is the correct answer.
Hold on.
I literally threw that
He's
in
part
there.
of Samurai with Johnny Silverhand.
I was like, I wanted to put a character in there, but I didn't want to like make it too obscure or too obvious. So I sort of tried to go a little bit in the middle.
I think the art style would have given that away to most
Yeah.
people, wouldn't it?
So a lot of them had all the tech shit on their face. So I was trying to find someone who didn't.
Once again, I've got like 400 hours in that game. I
Oh.
know that game a million miles away.
I wanted a freebie in there just to boost morale coming towards the end of the quiz.
Had I not got any points, I would have been very appreciative of that.
Exactly, that's literally why it was there.
Oh,
Right, question 9, the penultimate. Are we ready?
I need Horry to fuck up here. Yeah, lock it in.
I also have an answer.
Yeah. Cool. You're both pretty confident. Doesn't matter who goes. Let me know.
I think it's The Last of Us 2 remastered.
I just put Last of Us 2. I didn't put remastered.
Right, whose answer do I take here? Because there is a correct one out of the two.
It's remastered, isn't it? And I've just said that as a joke. So if Horry has said Last of Us 2, I'm fine for him to have
You
it.
can have the flex point for remastered. That doesn't change it being Last of Us 2.
We have been accepting franchise all day long.
I know, so I'm going to give you both the point. But it is The Last of Us 2. Not
Oh, is
like...
it not the remastered version? Why the fuck did they remaster it?
Oh, I'll take the extra point then.
See how he changes his tune?
So Dean is in Last of Us Part 2, not the original that's been remastered 85 times. But I'll give you both the point because, like you say, I should have been reinforcing the game earlier on.
I fully
When you
expected
let him have
to
Fallout instead of
reinforce it.
Fallout 4, I was like, he's not
Yeah.
getting away with this.
Well,
As soon
I
as you
wasn't
didn't do it
originally going
then.
to do it on God of War.
Well, yeah,
And
but
then-
yeah,
I know. It's too
we
late
said
now.
specific ones, and then
Josh
you,
is just
Yeah.
too soft.
Yeah, it's a good morale booster going into the big Christmas
Needs a blue
jamboree
chew.
next one. And
Horry's
finally,
cooked this week and put some pressure on me. He's finally going to take a dub. Hate to see
finally,
it.
question 10. A little fun one to wrap things up.
Oh,
here.
God.
Oh, boo. Oh, yeah, lock it in. I'm so glad that we've just been going franchise, otherwise I'd be screwed here.
I
I'll try and give you the exact game anyway.
think I know.
Horry might be in trouble here. I think
It's
he'll
one
get
like,
it.
even if he's not played the game,
I would
There's a
expect him
chance
to
he'll
know
get it.
this, but there's a chance he doesn't know it. I think he's got it though.
I think I know the front, but I don't know. My guess is Miles Morales.
It's Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Okay.
You
I
can
wasn't
tell
sure if
because
it
of
was
snow in the background.
That is gangly.
just Spider-Man, like all the Spider-Man ones. I didn't know if you were going to class Miles Morales as like a separate.
Honestly, I'm actually at this point now fuming that you weren't more strict because I would have won
Yeah,
if
yeah.
we had to be specific with games. But it's
Is
okay
that the
because I got
case, though?
like
'Cause-
3 flex points.
I'm trying to think. So Hori would have got The Last of Us 2. Oh no, you would have got Final Fantasy 7.
And Fallout.
Fallout 4. Hori got Witcher 3 though.
And I would have got this one. I didn't get Witcher anyway.
Yeah.
I
true.
guess the wrong game
Doesn't
altogether.
matter because I still won. So
So
You did,
what was the
finally.
scores? You only got 2
I got
wrong,
8.
Hori, is that right?
Yeah, I got 8.
Out of 10.
Yeah, so I must have got 7.
So which ones did you not get?
I didn't get the first one,
Jack and Daxter,
Nine.
neither of you
Yeah,
got that.
Naira
and
said that.
Alex
the one
from Half-Life.
after God of War. Oh, the
Yeah,
Half-Life one.
Alex from Half-Life.
Yeah, and I didn't get Witcher on top of that.
Yep.
Oh, it feels good to
Hori's
finally
brought
win.
a point back.
Finally get a dub.
Yeah, feels good. Can't wait to
Manch-
lose that next week.
Yeah.
Next week, next time.
Now, I'm literally calling sick for the next month, and I'm just studying video games for the entire
Revising.
year. Yeah.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing. This was a lot easier for me because it was just I didn't have. If you'd been like name them, I would have been screwed because
Yeah,
I'm
I-
terrible
I-
with names. But like I can go off visual style and kind of pin it to a game.
You can look at character, art style, age, so many things that help you just snap to
Yeah,
it.
like the visual will help me. But had this been like, I mean, also this if you'd been enforcing the specificness, that would have screwed me because
I
Yeah.
should have early on. But I
Yeah.
thought it's nearly Christmas, let's be generous.
I regret not making the decision to be a dick when Hori just said Fallout and not Fallout 4.
the funny thing is, my guess if you'd been like a number, it would have been Fallout 3 in a
Oh,
way.
yeah.
So
Oh, really?
I don't play the Fallout games.
Yeah, but it looks so much more modern than Fallout 3.
You know why, Hori? Because it's the same people that made Starfield, and Starfield was shit.
Boo.
Well, it's because I played
Boo.
Oblivion and Skyrim, and I was like, nah, it's just this is fine. I'm getting
Well-
they got Fallout, new Fallout game. I got Skyrim on the fridge because they released that on everything.
Well, thank you as always, Josh.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to have you, and
No
we'll
worries.
see you close to Christmas.
Oh, next month is going to be a banger. It will be a ultra long episode, the longest we've done. We will be going over everything from the Game Awards, who won what, are they what we expected, and then we will also have a quiz. It'll be a 10-question quiz, wrapping up everything that happened in the gaming space this year.
Awesome. Thanks so
forward to
much. We'll see you next time.
See you later.
And now that Hori's got his first ever victory in Josh's quizzes, it took him long enough.
I'll
Everyone has an
take
off week, you know. Everyone has an off
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
See, I was too busy checking the news to make sure
Yeah.
that we had all of the news.
Well, I was
all
too
it
busy chopping logs and brighter shores behind.
So we got some fun news this week. We've got a
Yeah.
scatter of different things here.
We did.
So Macaulay Culkin is apparently joining the cast of Fallout Season 2.
Yeah, they're gonna have to break into a house to get some information.
Imagine if that was actually his episode, though. Like, they have to go and get
Yeah,
this
it's like
guy, and they just
little
make it like
base.
a Home Alone light episode. It'd be really funny.
I wouldn't hate that.
No. All I'm going to say is Macaulay Culkin is kind of the bubbly person he is. When I see him, I'm instantly like, he is a vault dweller.
Yeah,
Like,
I could see it.
If you think of Ella in like the first episode,
Yeah,
like I can absolutely see him being like Vault
Yeah.
Boy. Like,
I get what you mean. Yeah,
but I'm quite excited for that. I think he's an absolutely brilliant actor. I know
Yeah.
like a lot of people look back on like the troubles he's been through his life, and thank God he's come through the other side, like 'cause he's so much better for it.
yeah.
But everything he's been in, I'm like, no, this guy's a genuinely really talented actor, and I want him to get more projects and get to do more stuff again. Because as much as he will always be the kid from Home Alone, he's got so much more acting to give the world,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
want it. And Fallout seems like a really conducive place to getting the best out of him.
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
So Kevin Feige did some interviews with Brazilian media outlets while he was down in
Yeah.
Brazil for D23. makes sense. We've got a couple of bits from that. One very
Yeah, he let us know the
predictable.
water is wet.
Yeah, and the other very exciting.
Hmm.
So the X-Men are going to be crucial post-Secret Wars. I, for one, didn't think that was going to happen. The X-Men have always been so tiny and unimportant. I assumed that they would just be left to the wayside. Crazy.
Yeah, it's wild that I get that he probably got asked a question that brought the answer on, but he's been saying for ages that X-Men is like what's next, and we know this is all leading to Secret Wars, so that kind of just means X-Men comes after Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess he's just kind of trying to instill, especially with all the rumors they're trying to get through the multiverse era. I think it was like literally the second I can get done with this multiverse crap, I'm going to give you guys so many mutants. You're going to be sick of mutants. We're going to have all the mutants, all of them, the best mutants in the world. More excitingly for me, Miles is in the plan. They're just waiting for the Spider-Verse trilogy to be done by the sounds of it. They want that trilogy done, they want it wrapped up, and then they're going to work out how to bring Miles into the MCU. And because they do have plans for him, but it does really seem like Spider-Verse has got to be finished first.
It'd be interesting to see him finally get brought in.
All I'm saying is, timeline-wise, this sits really nicely for my plan of how to bring Miles in. I said the second film of the new Spider-Man trilogy, you have Miles be a kid that Peter is tutoring for money. The next Spider-Man film comes out in 2026. At which point it's been 4 years since one before that. We say it's maybe 2 or 3 years since the next one. That gives them, from now, like 4 years to get Spider-Verse out the fucking window and done. Not that I want them to rush it, because that's going to be amazing, but you know what I mean? That gives time for that to be done, and then be ready to bring him into live action.
I feel like it's got to already be in like the works of story plan now. If he's saying this, like they already have some sort of a plan of how they're bringing him in. It's now just a time thing on when.
With how long I've been saying that that's the best way to bring Miles in, do you think I've got a legal case if they end up doing it that way? Or do they just go, it's RIP, fuck off?
I mean, you have no, like...
Not even
Well, here's the thing. You'd have to prove that they heard this, and, like, it's one of those where... this is totally unrelated to Marvel, but John Bellion, who is an artist that I love, he did a behind the scenes for his last album years ago, and it was like he released it after the album came out as like a documentary of like making of. And at the start of it, he hadn't released music for a while, and he was talking about how people on Twitter are constantly guessing stuff. And he'd put a teaser out, and then they like one of them was go, "You've got one fan who was like bang on. Their handle is this," and they bleep their name, and they're like, "She guessed it exactly, your whole concept for this album exactly." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't." It's how one, and it's like that. And someone in Marvel goes, "They fucking worked it out. How? How have they done this?" They're on the money, but we can't say that.
That's my dream. I want to be known in a meeting room somewhere as the dickhead who saw it all coming. I think I would live a very happy life if I knew that.
They're just like, thank God this podcast is still fairly small, because otherwise our plan's ruined.
The woke media liberal machine is trying to push us down because we know the answer.
Yeah, Marvel's crushing our views because they don't want our predictions to get out there.
And another one that I actually forgot to put on here somehow is that there is definitely a plan for the Scarlet Witch. He's being very coy about it. He's like, "Oh, I'm very excited to see how and when the Scarlet Witch might be able to come back." We never believed she was really dead.
No.
But they're now setting up like the Children's Crusade where Speed and Wiccan go and find her.
I think they have the how figured out. I think the when, obviously, they don't. They know that Quest Vision is probably going to play into this storyline somehow. Obviously, we've got this set up now with the two boys. We can see how it's all going to happen, The when is just where it fits into timelines of things coming out and how they want to slot it going in.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. Colin Farrell says he has 5 or 6 scenes in Batman 2 and he's attached to a third film.
Mm-hmm.
The Penguin finale has become one of the highest rated episodes in TV history.
Damn.
Not. It always seems weird to say this, but that doesn't come across as an insane surprise to me. The show has been phenomenally well written, well acted, well done. Like every kind of category of this show has been done with absolute excellence. But it is always special when you hear that something has become one of the best perceived things ever to do that.
Well, yeah.
No matter how good you think it is, to hear everyone else in the world has collectively gone, ooh, that was good, is always fun.
It's one of those now where it's like, if this isn't put up for awards, people are going to be like, what the fuck? Like, this is one of the highest rated episodes and you haven't put it into the awards.
Like, for what reason? For what? For why?
Why are you overlooking this?
And apparently Penguin Season 2 is on the cards. It's not a definite yes, it's not a definite no. They're thinking about it. I imagine a lot of that will be because I believe initially the plan was just one season, but I don't know if that's because they kind of went to Matt, yeah, you can have a season, but we're not going to renew you, or if Matt was like, only have one story to tell. But I would imagine this conversation has been them looking at the numbers and going, hey, Matt, would you like to make a second one? And now on the cards is Matt going, is it worth it? Yeah. Is there a story that's good enough to tell?
I think Batman 1 was so well received. And then Matt obviously had the idea of, oh, we can tie the gap between the two films with the Penguin. Let's DC get into TV again. Had this idea and they're like, yeah, cool, we like that. And I think it always was, right, this is going to be one season. It's the bridge between the first film, the second film. I get to tell street level Gotham. Kind of like, that was his expectation. And like you say, they've now gone probably to him and gone, so this was really good and we want more of it. Can you make us more of this? We want more money. And Matt Reeves now probably will be going, okay, so this is my story for the third film. He'll have a rough this is the story for the second film. He'll have a rough idea of where the story's going in the trilogy.
Yeah.
He'll be going, is there a story to be told between the second and third for the Penguin? Because I imagine that's where it would sit.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So we'll wait and see.
We got a What If Season 3 trailer in the days post D23 Brazil.
Yes.
We've enjoyed What If.
Yeah.
It is good. I still feel like they've missed a trick here. They're playing up like the finale of What If, and that is kind of the antithesis of What If, because the entire idea is you can never stop making stuff as long as you have ideas. And I understand that a lot of frustration is kind of you've just missed really cool ideas here of like, what if the other half got snapped is a really common one that's like, we would love to like see a fun version of that. There are dozens of What If comics where they could literally just go through each one and go, that one was really cool. Make that an episode. Make that an episode.
Yeah, we've enjoyed them, but we've always said that they've lent too heavily on this like interconnected story, which is not What If is supposed to be. What If is literally have fun each episode. Like they had the potential to do multiple seasons of just every episode as whatever the fuck they want it to be. Yeah. We've also said maybe this allows them to end What If as it is now and kind of lean into some of the Star Wars Visions thing with the different studios, and you do a blend where studios get to do what if this story happened in their own style of animation, and you get this like really cool creative combination for a series.
That would almost instantly become one of my most anticipated projects if they went, right, we've said we've ended What If, we've not really, we're restructuring it, we've listened to your guys' feedback, we are going to take more of a Visions approach, we are going to come up with 30 what if stories, which are very much off the wall ones. We're then going to send them out to 15 studios. They're going to put a bid together for what one they want to do and what style they want to do. We're then going to choose 12 and they will get made, and then you will have 12 visually unique and interesting stories. And they announced that. I'm bouncing off the fucking walls going, that is going to be fucking awesome, because that is what this medium is completely about.
Also, look at it as like, if Disney looks at it like, look at Star Wars Visions, the first one, they had that black and white samurai thing that was so loved as a visual that they then made a comic off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's potential that they go, oh, here's some already done what if stories that might be good ideas. You're also welcome to come up with your own. And the studio goes, no, we have a really good own idea. They do it. Everyone fucking loves it. And then Marvel's like, we're going to make that into a what if comic because it was so loved. Like,
but you know what I need? I need the exec who kind of greenlit Visions to just knock on Feige's door and just go, you know, Visions that we do should be what if is, right?
yeah.
Like, you're not brain dead, are you?
Hopefully inside Disney there has been that conversation of like, look, why don't you take what Star Wars have been doing with Visions and blend it into what if?
It seems so obvious that I genuinely think we must be missing some massive legal blockade as to why it's not being done. That's the only thing that could possibly make sense as to why this hasn't already been done. Awesome news, Ori. I know how we're going to spend our next $3 million.
Our next $3 million.
Yes, our next $3 million. Warner Brothers are going to be selling, I believe, 10 functional, but not street legal. They're very clear about this. Nolan Batmobiles.
Here's
to
my
which
question.
The response on Twitter has been, motherfucker, I don't care if it's street legal. I'm fucking Batman.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's two points of view here. Either you go, it's a Batmobile, I'd like to see the police stop it. Or, what do I have to spend to make it street legal? Like, does it just need indicators? Is that, like, I'll slap indicators on a Batmobile if I could drive on the motorway.
If I have $3 million to spend on this, I'm buying a hunk of land, I'm building a decent sized house on it, and I'm getting a fucking awesome racetrack put in. And guess what? I'm basically living in the Batmobile for the first year. I'm just driving in loops. It's going to be awesome. I'm getting cardboard cutouts of Joker and shit and running them over.
Do you know what you do? You buy like an old airstrip with hangars and bunkers. You make a bat bunker where you can have the car essentially drive out of the ground like it's...
Just go ultimate man cave, and you just make it the Bat Cave. Yeah, no, I'm down. Just hire some old British white dude to be a butler.
Who do we think buys these, though?
I'm going to tell you right now, Kai Cenat is getting his hands on one of these. He might not buy it. He might just, like, know someone who's going to buy one. Kai Cenat is getting his fucking hands on one of these.
What I think, in the YouTube world, yeah, you're going to have, like, either Kai Cenat, Mr. Beast, because he'd make a video like, so-and-so with the Batmobile.
Yeah. I won't be surprised if Elon Musk gets one. That man has more money than God, and he loves to think he is like Bruce Wayne, Tony Stark. This seems like the kind of shit he would buy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's literally just got a job in the US government. We're not going to get too political here. That he's managed to get named the Department of Government Efficiency, so it spells out Doge, so that he can use it to shield Dogecoin.
He's not going to do anything, let's be honest.
Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So he, like, if you're a billionaire and you don't buy one of these, you're like, all billionaires suck. If you're a billionaire and you don't try and buy one of these, you are instantly one of the worst billionaires because you're not even spending a ridiculous amount of wealth on cool shit.
Yeah, if you're going to have that money, at least live like Batman.
Exactly.
It'll be interesting to see.
Even more fucking awesome news. James Gunn has confirmed that the Superman trailer is ready, and he confirmed this by going, "It's done. It's on my hard drive." I have never wanted to commit cyber crimes so badly.
Here's the thing. He said that, you know someone out there has already tried.
Oh, the balls to admit it's on your hard drive
Yeah.
is crazy.
Do you know what I'd love? Is if he has like on purpose a computer connected that is quite clearly is unprotected, but like
Just a dud.
but it has on there, and if someone gets on like, I'm in. Oh my god, there is Superman trailer, and it opens up and it's just a Rickroll video.
Brilliant.
Like it would be the greatest thing. But I mean, I said it the other week when we said that he'd been working on it. He'll have this ready. It's gonna like. I still think this is a Super Bowl trailer. I think we'll get a teaser maybe before, but we get a full-on trailer at the Super Bowl.
I want a teaser before the Super Bowl. I don't know.
Christmas teaser maybe.
I can wait till February. Here's the thing. This is going to sound insane, and I'm not someone who normally is this optimistic. I think this trailer might fix the world. I've got a genuine feeling that they have finally captured Superman in such a beaming light that it's going to be like a meme where you've got people ready to bat each other over the head, and they see this trailer and they're like, what are we doing? We can be better than this. I know it's ridiculous, but there is something. I've got so much hope in my heart that we're finally going to get superheroes allowed to be bright and happy and pure again in a way. And like, don't get me wrong, I love Nolan. I love what they're doing with the Batman and stuff, but it's so dark and sad. I just want Superman to literally fly up, take a puppy out of a tree, play fetch with Crypto, give Lois a kiss on the forehead, and then fly off to the sun for whatever reason. I don't want to see him do any hero shit. I want to see him just be a dude.
Do you know what's just funny? You've just explained what my brain's just gone to, right? We have the trailer before. Super Bowl, most American event of the year. It opens like a patriotic trailer of like white picket fence, playing fetch with a dog, the perfect family, and it's Superman and Crypto. Like it's like the most. Everyone's like, "Oh yes, finally an American trailer. This is gonna be like Trump or something." Like it's America's back, and then it's Superman. Like it's just not the most superhero like esque trailer, but it's like a typical American patriotism trailer.
Yeah, I need it. I need it. More great news. We're just reeling off great news. Denzel Washington has said in an interview that Ryan Coogler is writing a role for him in Black Panther 3.
Which is very exciting.
Is this Marvel's chance to finally get a proper Oscar? Because Angela Bassett got robbed. Let's be fucking clear. Yeah. She got robbed. Is it going to take Denzel to finally bring home the hardware for Marvel?
I mean, they're trying everything at this point. If this is, I mean,
I love it, man.
Yeah.
And let's be completely clear. Chadwick Boseman, when accepting one of the awards for Black Panther, said, "Without Denzel Washington, there is no Black Panther."
Yeah.
So it feels like a beautiful full circle moment. Denzel, as part of that interview, also said he's only got 5 films left before he's going to retire, and this is one of them.
Damn. Yeah, it's. I mean, to get Denzel in is.
Yeah, in the last 6 months, it feels like we've gone from a we've never been so over to we have never been so back. We've got trailers that feel alive. We've got the Penguin showing that superhero isn't the genre and we can have more fun. Mm-hmm. We've got so much good stuff. We're about to get a trailer that's going to fix the world, and now we've got Denzel going, "Yes, I am suiting up."
It'd be pretty sick.
I really, really hope that doesn't fall through and that we do actually get to see Denzel in a Marvel film.
I think partly on the whole Chadwick's speech thing about without Denzel, like there's that personal connection to the film because of all that Denzel now has.
Mm-hmm.
Part of him will want, like, this opportunity is being offered to him. He's gonna make it work because he's kind of personally gonna be like, I want to do that now.
I completely agree. A Hollywood Reporter article about Star Wars has
Where the
said
news
that
goes
Rey
bad.
is set to play a role in several Star Wars movies that are being developed. It's still unclear which will come first. And a source familiar with the Star Wars movie/TV development process has said that Star Wars is a nostalgia-based enterprise and they are running out of ways to create nostalgia. This goes into what we've been saying for months of Star Wars is a brilliant universe with lots of stories to tell, and they're relying so heavily on nostalgia to try and
The
appease a
Skywalkers.
certain group of fans that they're actually limiting Star Wars. The greatest argument against this nostalgia bullshit is Rogue One and Andor, which is some of the best stuff that Star Wars has put to film.
The unfortunate like the only downside to Andor and Rogue One is that it's still tied into the Skywalker saga. If that had been completely separate and as good and as successful, it would have been amazing because it would have opened that. They would have been like, okay, we can step away, but because it's got that just enough of a tie-in. But this is what I said last week when we got the rumor that there's a new trilogy and it potentially is episode 10, 11, and 12. And I was like, I really hope it isn't. I don't want them to be stuck in this. Like, I'm okay with them doing another Rey film. Like, they'd said there was a Rey film coming. I'm okay with getting a kind of like, this is where that story is now. Kind of close it with a film. This worries me that it is going to be 10, 11, and 12. More so off the comment of they're so stuck and struggling on direction internally and stuck in this nostalgia based, which apparently the TV side isn't struggling with, and that's why they've had the freedom to do these other shows. Because they don't. It's an issue they have with the IP for the films is they are from how it was worded. I get the sense they're too scared to stray away from the Skywalker saga.
And this is something that the internet's kind of been pointing out for a few years now, isn't it? Where we've seen them announce a million projects, it feels, and they always get cancelled, and we're like, but why? And it genuinely does seem like every time they sit down, they're like, we're going to make a Star Wars film. They get a third of the way into the process, and they're like, oh no, that's too scary. And then they throw it away.
I think also, like, this also adds to my disappointment about how fans treated Acolyte.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the first TV show that really stepped away from, because like Ahsoka and all that stuff is still tied in. It's very separate, but it's still tied into that timeline. But it got trashed by fans and they've cancelled it seemingly. Yes, TV's having more freedom to experiment with these things, and it might not that might not stop TV experimenting and having this freedom to not be so tied in. Sure, we might get another TV show that is outside the Skywalker trilogy. I do think that has hurt the film side of things, where that's not going to fill them with confidence to step away from this.
Exactly.
And
the films are much larger financial burden than a TV show.
I think
even though the Acolyte was expensive.
The only hope we have of the first film that is meant to be stepping away is The Dawn of the Jedi. But we've still not heard anything else on that since it was announced. Whereas like the Grogu film we know is Mando and Grogu film is still going ahead fine, but that's still tied into it all. Like the only other two films was the Rey film, which now seemingly could be turning into a trilogy. And then we've heard nothing about The Dawn of the Jedi, which could mean it's getting scrapped if they're going to pull the plug like they have on other things. It just worries me that we're going to be stuck. They're too scared about fan reception, I think.
Yes.
And losing fans because they're not, like, they're stuck in this nostalgia thing. Like, we're just going to end up on episode 20 of the Skywalker saga, and it's like Rey's grandchild, and it's, oh, another spaceship in space with a big laser that has to be blown up, oh wait, we're repeating the same story for like the 4th time because you're too scared to step away from it.
Yeah, completely agree. Completely agree. It's rough because it's such a great universe, and there's too much fear dictating what they're going to do right now.
I want to know if any of this comes from George or if he is fully just stepped hands off now. If this is like an internal Disney thing, then
I think it's a Disney thing.
Then I need George and Dave to be like, we need to step in and do something here.
Yeah.
And we need to shake them and be like, wake the fuck up. We need George to just step in and go, my friend, this Star Wars is more than these films. Go make something else.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Second Secret Level got a second trailer,
Yes.
which is Next Level.
Yes. We said it when it was teased. We were very excited. It's from the same people of Love, Death and Robots, which is a great series.
So many awards for such a little amount of actual. It's fun when creative people get allowed to make creative stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
It always ends well, eventually.
Yeah. It's like they're given the freedom to make what they want. I think we said it from the beginning, but like this trailer, teasing a bit more of each story, like the video game fans are going to eat with this. But on top of that, I think it's also going to just be incredible video game media that anyone can enjoy.
It looks really good. I've genuinely got a feeling that there are going to be a lot of people who've played games. Like, and I don't mean to ever disparage a gamer. A gamer is a fucking gamer. You're all my brothers and sisters. But I feel like you're going to get a lot of gamers who are like your yearly release gamers, your FIFA and your COD, and that's all they play gamers, who watch some of these and they want to go dip into that universe. Or a lot of people who maybe gamed when they were a little bit younger, but stopped as they got older for whatever reason, who are like, you know what? I had a good year this year. I can afford a PlayStation. I'm going to get back into gaming.
Yeah.
I genuinely feel like there could be a really good outcome of this when more people just start gaming to enjoy it and it becomes a less toxic environment.
Yeah.
Because like I watched this trailer and it literally has me going, oh my god, this is going to be so much fun. And it's such a nice feeling to just something that was literally like a nothing burger, just, oh, we're working on this, by the way. And now it's coming up in like a month and I'm like, I'm really excited to see what they've done here.
I know, I'm certain the World of Warcraft will be a great one. Their cinematics always are. Like,
there's a Warhammer episode as well.
But I was meaning that one. The Warhammer one. So Warhammer has their own subscription thing, which they have some animated short series on. It's a bit not liked by fans of Warhammer because there's a famous fan-made video, like four-parter called Astartes, made by one guy. Like, I'm talking like triple, like, this is like studio level quality of like a little Warhammer. Like, it is incredible that one guy made this. It got millions of views on YouTube, as it should. Warhammer then essentially offered him a job and bought his content, which he then had to take it off YouTube and it got put behind their paid content wall. They did that with a bunch of Warhammer animators. Basically
so
took
it's
all
not
the fan
that they've
content.
created a subscription service and gone, if you want more stuff, here it is. They've gone, oh, you know that stuff you guys have been loving? Yeah, we're going to buy it and make you pay if you ever want to see it again.
Yeah. But also, like, it's like, and don't get me wrong, all the fans were like, yes, go get your bag, animators. You've been doing this for 3 years.
Absolutely.
But like, still scummy from Warhammer. I think this could be the first thing that is public, like wider public get to see. Maybe forces Warhammer to be like, look, put your shit onto streaming services that everybody uses. Like, maybe it helps push the Amazon Prime show a bit. Like, There's a lot of things here that could then branch off into something.
Do you know, like, we always see when a video game project does well, like outside of video games, it causes a bump in sales. Imagine, like, the Pac-Man episode goes really hard, and you've got a bunch of bars trying to get Pac-Man machines because everyone wants to play Pac-Man at the bar again. Like, could you imagine just all of a sudden you go back to a pub and you just see they've got a Pac-Man machine now because they're in again? Like, that'd be so much fun.
Do you know what I expect to see? It'd be like, you know, the web, like, you could probably just Google play Pac-Man and there'll be some emulator website. It'll be like, emulator website crashes after Pac-Man episode because everyone tries to go play Pac-Man.
Yeah, it's really, really exciting. I cannot wait.
It's going to be some incredible episodes.
And to wrap us up,
yes,
The Boys season 5 will be starting filming in about 2 weeks, the 25th of November.
Yeah, they've had a little break. They've had their cool off while they were finishing off Gen V. And now the actors have to suit up again, and we're back in.
Yeah. So, obviously, Gen V's coming out March, April, May time, 2025.
Yeah.
And then a year after that is when The Boys season 5 will be out. I can't believe we're actually getting towards the end of The Boys. That feels crazy. I know we're going to get spin-offs after that and stuff. But the core Boys story, like, knowing that in a couple of weeks we're going to start ending that is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It even crazier for you because although it's been 5 seasons, it's only been like 6 months for you.
Yeah. I know it'll be wild when it's done because I actually think they have the chance to do something which not many shows get to do, which is end on like a high. Like
completely
this very easily could end at like a peak of The Boys. And yes, there'll be the spin-offs, which will then the fans will dive into because they're like, we want more, but we can't get more of The Boys, so we'll follow these things now. But yeah, I mean, props to them to not trying to drag it out. Like we've always said, we're glad they're not doing that. It'll be sad though when it's done.
Yeah, absolutely. But that is the news this week.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I know it's been a long old episode. Pat yourself on the back for getting through it with us. There's been so much to discuss. The next 6 weeks or so are still going to be busy. We've got June Prophecy. We've got Creature Commandos. We've got Skeleton Crew all around the corner. We've not even discussed if we might want to watch Cross, which has started, I believe, today on Prime Video. Anything like that. Who knows? You don't know. We don't know. It's fine. We'll see you next week, though.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.